Hi, friends on the internet. I hope you're having a spooky Saturday. Uh, roll credits. No, I'm kidding. Hope you're doing well though. Whether you're here live on Twitch or you're watching this VOD later here or on YouTube, super pumped you're here. Uh, doing well today. I hope everyone else is. Today we're hanging out with Thrall. Hey, Thrall, what's up?
Hi, I'm here doing things.
You're doing things. You're here. You're excited. You're ready to go. Um,
Yeah.
if this is your very first time watching an episode of Spooky Saturdays, congratulations on being awesome. You've just now leveled up in life, but also you've come at a great time because Thrall Bunny episodes are the best because we always have a great time, and even though we go in with one idea of what we're going to talk about, we cover a myriad of things. I'm very excited about this.
None of them to their full potential.
No, of course not. We're just gonna like rabbit trail all over the place. I
Yeah.
think there was one episode that like started out with like we were talking about aliens. We ended up talking about sirens, the depths of space, the depths of the ocean, and then Keanu Reeves. And then we ended with like dragons and Edgar Allan Poe. It was a phenomenal time. Uh,
It's always fun.
it was like a
You,
4 hour episode. It was great.
you never know what you're gonna get with Thrall and Bunny. I mean,
That's right. It's a good time. It's a good time.
like,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Before we
So
hop into that spooky stuff, though, how have you been? I know you've been doing lots of stuff, like in your
I've been doing
personal
good.
life.
Been taking some time, but time will be ending. My personal time. So my return to Twitch, other than today, my personal Twitch stuff. I have an event planned for look at it because I actually put it in the calendar, folks. That's how you know I'm serious. I put it in the calendar.
He put it in the calendar and everything. He
I
also
crit.
put it as
Yeah.
an event in Discord, if
hmm
that helps you.
So Sunday, February 26th. So 2 weeks from tomorrow,
That's actually one of my brother's birthdays is the 26th.
I will be making my return to streaming. Um, and all I have planned for that is we're going to discuss my future in the stream, doing streams, and probably play some Vault Hunters. So,
Yeah, I know you set up that Vault Hunter server and it's very exciting. Uh, I haven't actually gone. I've gone into I think one vault successfully because we didn't want to get too far ahead of Sunshine. Um, so basically, Ty and I have been beautifying the land, and by beautifying the land, I mean I gather resources and Ty makes things pretty. So we have a good system.
um, I took Peter Trash Panda into his first vault yesterday.
How do you like it?
He liked it. He got 2 levels right away
Nice.
off a level 0 vault. Because honestly, if I took him in my vault, he would have died immediately. So,
Yeah, yeah, he for sure would have.
but yeah, so that's what I have planned for the immediate future. There are some other things going on. I'm not announcing them yet because I don't have everything in order.
That's fair and reasonable. I know we
Um,
have some idea.
yes.
That's a
Um,
that's a mouse tool for later.
yep. What have you been doing, Bunny?
Well, I had my hiatus for a little bit. Uh, I'm gonna play spooky music in the background. If it's too loud, someone just tell me. I'm gonna assume the sound is fine unless somebody tells me. Um, but I've been doing. I was gonna take January completely off from like streaming and getting stuff for Spooky Saturday and work solely on my book. Um, so naturally, I started two other projects in planning and pre-planning, and was a crazy person about planning out the spooky Saturdays for season 3. Uh, but last week was the first episode. I keep saying seasons because that's how I organize them in my
Or
brain.
seasons. I
Yeah.
mean, think of what Netflix does. Like 10 episodes is a season.
Except for I don't know how to count or be consistent, so there's never it's like never the
Well,
same number.
they don't either because, oh yeah, 6 months we'll have season 2.
Also, I
5
didn't
years
cancel I
later,
didn't cancel it after 2 seasons, so I'm not Netflix.
uh,
Shots fired. Uh
or one season of a really great show and everybody likes it. Oh, we're not doing that no more.
I hate that so much when they do that. And it's always a show that I'm really pumped about, and then
There's a
I watch it later than everybody else because I don't want to. And not that I'm like a hipster or anything, or like anti-hipster, but I'm like I don't want to be that person who's like I watched it when it wasn't mainstream. But
there was a really great show that I liked. It was called Terra Nova.
yes, I watched like 4 episodes of that, and then I completely forgot about it. Is this
They only
still not
did like
working?
9 episodes. Like they did one season, and it just fell off the face of the earth. Like I love that. That had dinosaurs, time travel. It was awesome,
Yeah.
and it's just gone. Like, you bastards. So, chat, I do apologize if my voice isn't consistent. Like Bunny said, I've had a lot of personal things going on. I am still just getting over surgery and stuff on my neck, so.
Yeah, like you for sure could have like when you were like, "Yeah, I made sure to take time off for the episode." I was like, "That's really sweet. You totally didn't have to do that." And you're like, "No, it's cool. I'm having surgery like 2 days before." And I'm like, "What?" Like, Thrall. You're like, "No, we're going to just do this all together." Also, the chat commands are not working again cuz of whatever
Oh,
reason. So
that one's come off. No,
I just put it
it
in
did.
physically. Um I don't know what's happening. I'll have to figure that out later. Um
Stream Elements did updatey stuff, and it's been wonky ever
it's
since.
been super just not a vibe.
Yeah, not only on your channel, but other people's as
Everywhere.
well.
Yeah. It's been fucky everywhere.
So I will tell chat that the picture of me on the TV is no longer valid. All the facial hair's gone, and I'm sad.
Listen, the facial hair is in our hearts. That sounds wrong. And it sounded wrong as it was coming out of my mouth. And I won't stop. Um but yeah, I'm really pumped to see what you got going. We'll talk about your future projects in a little bit, as we do. I'm really pumped though, because I'm excited. I know you needed to take the break, and we still have been hanging out regardless because I'm like a bad penny. You can't get rid of me. So I am though really pumped to get back to some Thrall streams. And
Yes, I mean, even though we hang out outside of stuff, I don't tell people my projects. Like until, hey, I need help with this. Oh, okay. So yeah. That thing is weird.
Thralloween! I gotta not do the Thralloween thing because I always want to do that. Um, so I put both of them in because apparently one of them is supposed to do a little heart shout out where people just tap the heart and it follows you, and the other one is
Mhm.
the traditional shout out. It looks like the traditional shout out is not working because of whatever reason. I don't know. So
Wow.
hopefully it figures it out. I don't know what's happening. I'm a little some type of way about it. It's kind of hard for me to do things if it's not going to work. But why is that not working?
I don't know.
That's frustrating. I don't want to have to deal with support. I'm gonna, but I don't want to have to deal with it.
I
No,
just mainly
you
put in a
get
link.
you put in the wrong one. You put in the wrong link.
I did.
You put it.
Ignore that.
You spelled your own name wrong. I love it. That's,
Oh,
you know
shit.
what? Shh, it's fine.
It
Uh,
used to be one. I'm gonna click on it, see where it takes me.
it says there's nothing unless you get a time machine. That content's unavailable. Which, like, that's funny. I appreciate. Twitch
Because
is funny.
that used to be my old Twitch username before the underscores. Alright. Yeah, chat gets it.
I'll fix it. I'll fix
We're
it.
good. We're
I
professionals.
will
It's,
fix this right now. This is like this. It's on my one screen where like the writing is for ants.
oh yeah.
All right, let's try that. Boom, fixed it.
That
There.
one should work.
It did. It worked fine because I learned how to type. I'm
Hey,
an
yeah.
adult.
That's my Twitch page.
Yep. I don't know what. This is annoying. If you personally have been victimized by Stream Elements bot not respecting you, please let us know. So we can also rage on your behalf. But yeah. So today we're gonna talk. We started out. I think we were just gonna like waffle. Originally, the plan was we were just gonna waffle about whatever, as we naturally end up doing anyways. But then at the beginning of this month, I think you posted like a meme
I did.
over. I think it was I think it was Lurk Deep Jaeger's community.
I've posted it several places. Actually,
Yeah.
I think I actually direct sent it to you or posted it in the cuties chat. I can't remember.
Yeah, you posted it. I know I had seen it, and I was like, "This is iconic." Basically, we're gonna be talking about kind of talking about um the 2001, what some people would call a cult classic, uh, which makes me feel old as fuck, by the way. Film Jeepers Creepers.
Give me 1 second. Sorry. No,
No worries.
I'm waiting for a package, and I think somebody just knocked on my door.
No worries. I can waffle about for a second. We're just chilling, anyways. Ain't no thing. But yeah, um, Apparently, I found out that they've made like 4 of these movies, and they're rebooting it, which is definitely some type of way. I don't know.
No, it was the dog knocking on my bedroom door,
Did he
as
have
he
Girl
does.
Scout cookies?
No,
Rude. Disrespectful.
he was laying on the floor with his back leg stretched, moving back and forth.
So he was just doing a little kick.
He was more or less stretching his
I mean, listen,
balls.
I get it, dude. I get it. I ain't even mad.
So yeah, I posted a meme because this year will be the 23rd spring in 2023,
Yes.
and a certain individual comes out every 23rd spring.
It's Santa.
It's Santa. No, it's Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
So
know
I
that?
thought
Did you know that there are 4 Jeepers Creepers films? Did you know that?
I knew there was two.
Yeah, I watched the first and the second one, and then proceeded to not give a fuck about it ever again.
I knew there was two, but what chat may or may not know is Jeepers Creepers is actually based off of an actual person. And
So, okay, so I know what you're talking about. I don't know if anyone's actually seen the film. I'll just give a quick rundown. Basically, the first one, these 2 siblings are going home to spring break in Florida, and they encounter a real life Florida man who's actually a terrifying murder thing, but he turns out to not be human, maybe? And he's murdering everyone, and uh, they can't stop him. There's like a psychic involved, like these crazy axe thing. He kills a bunch of cops, and one of them ends up dying. But oh, I need to not do the Pop Goes the Weasel one right now. That's way too much. But yeah, and then they make a second one where it's just like continuing, because I guess for the way it's set up is that every 23rd every 23rd year in the 23rd spring for 23 days the creeper comes to life and can feed and eat people, and then he goes back to sleep for another 23 years.
Yeah. That is the theatrical movie version. Yes.
Yes, and there's also, I guess, comic books, which,
Yeah,
like,
it turned into a whole big thing. Like Steven Spielberg is like
wait,
that. That's a
was Spielberg involved in this?
yes.
Because I thought it was the dude who ended up being a pedo.
No, Spielberg was involved in this. He originally came up with the idea, pitched it to some writers. They didn't like it. Somebody else picked it up and ran with it.
Okay, I see. I didn't know that, so that's actually very interesting.
But I'll get on the whole Spielberg spiel in a minute.
Spielberg spiel.
Yeah.
I love.
So, anyway, Jeepers Creepers was based off of an actual guy called Dennis Depew.
Yeah.
And the only thing that he has to do with the films is he murdered his wife for whatever reason. It never said. I never found out
There
why.
was like an unsolved mystery or unsolved crimes. There was some. There was an
Yeah.
episode about it, about them, but they never went
Yeah.
into details on like all of the shit. It was all really conjecture.
Yeah. There was an unsolved mysteries episode. I'll get to that in a second. So anyway, he went to go dump his wife's body behind an old schoolhouse. You
As
know,
you
the
do.
old single-room schoolhouses. And Ray and Marie Thornton were happened to be on vacation driving by and seen him dumping the body. So Dennis got in his van and chased him down the road. Hence the opening scene of Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, where they're basically
In a
they're
van running from the creeper.
yeah they're in an Impala, not like a Sam and Dean Impala, not like the '67, but it's a different model Impala. And they're
Yeah.
driving and they're playing, if I'm not mistaken, like really bad road games. Like they're not like drive games that you would normally play, like spot the license plate or anything like that. They were like, it was something weird. I don't remember because it was that long ago I watched it, but it was a really bad game. That I was like, wow, this is like you guys can't even like road game right. Um,
Yeah.
and they drive by, and it's like this weird panning shot of the creeper pulling like I think one or three, like a bunch of bodies out of a truck, just like dumping it. And
Yeah,
they're
he was.
like, "Oh, that's a body." And then it drives behind them with this big, like souped up truck, and it should not go as fast as it does.
Yeah,
And he
because
runs
it's
them
like an
off the road and
old.
shit. Yeah,
It's like an old 50s, 40s truck that shouldn't. Yeah.
should not be able to meet those speeds at all. But
Yeah.
when you're a supernatural creature, you go to a
Yeah.
supernatural mechanic. So
Yeah. So yeah, that brought us to that. So anyway, he did not catch them before they got to the police, so he disappeared. He just vanished. Like nobody could find him.
yeah,
Um. So what had happened was he moved to a different state under a different name and
okay.
was dating this one girl or something. Anyway, so the episode of Unsolved Mysteries had come out with what's his name?
You had to ask
Yeah.
because I could have told you had you not asked me, and all I can see is his face. I'm like, yeah, you
Yeah.
know,
Anyway, Unsolved Mysteries with that guy.
yeah.
Um, and she was like looking at it, and she's like, "Oh, that's weird." Whatever. And
Honey, you
then
could be a dead ringer for this guy. Ooh, ooh.
and then like after that episode, he like disappeared for like a week and a half. And this is like what 7 or 10 years later, so it was a long time.
Yeah.
And then she realized, oh shit, and she called, not her, but her brother called the police and tipped them off, gave them the license plate number of his car and stuff. So he ended up in a chase with the police. I believe he was in Dallas, Texas at this point in time. And he took a couple of pot shots at the cops before he popped shot himself.
Yeah, before
And
he
that,
punched his clock. Yeah.
yeah, and that was the end of the actual guy that it was based off of. So it's like it's not really based off him. It's just some people witnessed a murder. He disappeared. Some years later, he popped back up. But they took that opening scene of him dumping the body and made like what 4 movies out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I mean, so a lot of people drew the connection between that scene of like the creeper following them and then them seeing him dump the body, then him running them off the road. Um, as like that was the catalyst for like the whole thing, which is like honestly, that's a great writing exercise to start one place and then just work your way out. Um, but I think there was another movie that the one of the cinematographers said like, no, that's not what we based it on. We based it on this. So I don't remember the name of that movie, but it is definitely it's definitely wild. I actually wanted to open this episode with that really old like Jeepers Creepers, which get them peepers song, but it's not in public domain, so I would have been DMCA strike for it, so I didn't.
There was one thing that I did read. The reason why it's called Jeepers Creepers and it was relatable to this guy is he was known around town as the Creeper. Like he was just had that creepy look to him. He was the Creeper.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's what he was known as around the local town. So I don't know. So
Sound like a Minecraft creeper,
yeah.
which are equally shitty.
So yeah, so that's that. And then it turns out, as I was looking into this more, a lot of Steven Spielberg's films that involve murderous people are based off of actual real-life murderers and serial killers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That one with the creepy nurse that breaks the dude's legs, she was an actual person.
Wait, hold on. You're gonna have to be way more specific.
What is the name of that movie? Hang on, I gotta look it up.
You and I went 2 different ways with this, man. Because I like, you're like, yeah, murderers, and I was like, bet, cryptids. Like, so we intersected at the film itself. But when I was looking into this, I was like, but what is the creeper? What is the Jeepers Creeper guy? Again, I only have the frame of reference that I watched the first 2 films. I looked up that they did have the other ones, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then that was as far as I looked into it, because honestly, and I feel comfortable saying this, with the exception of a couple of franchises, like you can count them on one hand. Sequels tend to be garbage. After like you may get away with a sequel being good and like honoring the source material and being as good, if not better, than the original. However, the more sequels you tend to have, you know, if we're looking like spreadsheet statistic wise, the sequels are going to get progressively shittier and shittier. It's kind of like with cable television. Once you hit like season 6 or something, any season after that is just going to get worse and worse until it's just at that point they're just going through the motions. You know?
Did I say Steven Spielberg?
You did say Steven Spielberg.
I have the wrong Spielberg.
Oh!
The wrong Steven. I have the wrong Steven.
The wrong Steven. I thought I wasn't going to call you out on it because I didn't. That's not where I was looking stuff up. So I was like, I'm sure Thrall knows what he's talking about.
No. Stephen King. Sorry, Stephen
Oh,
King.
Steve. You know, actually, this is so interesting you brought up Stephen King. Okay, so I was going through different things. I'm like, okay, what could the creeper be? Because when you look at him, he's like 6 foot tall, and the images you see of the majority of the films, he's like in a big trench coat, he's got a hat, and like he hides out in one scene in a scarecrow, like on a post
Uh,
of a scarecrow.
Yep.
Like that was
That,
so like you couldn't tell that he. But towards the end of the first film and then in parts of the second film, you see what he is, where he's got like almost like a reptilian like scale, but it's like a dark green gray. He's got like the bald head on top, but like the white scraggly hair, and he's
yeah.
got wings and he's got claws, and he's just like oddly buff. Not gonna lie to you, oddly buff. It was a very weird vibe. Uh, but like it definitely like humanoid, but not yet human. So I was thinking to myself, okay, we would look at the physical characteristics of what the creeper is. We look at the things he can do. He's super fast. He has almost like this the thing that makes when he's hunting is he smells people's fear. He does stuff intentionally during his hunting phase, during that 23-day time frame, to cause his victims to experience fear, and then he chooses the victims based on their scent of their fear, like a pheromone sort of situation. And he's got three
Yeah.
nostrils, the two where you would have nostrils canonically, and then one along the bridge of his nose, which I'm guessing is the pheromone snooter, if you will. Um, and then the wings thing is just wild to me.
Yeah,
And then you
because the
couple that
trench
with
coat is essentially the wings wrapped up and around him.
yeah, because he's wearing the trench coat to hide the wings, and
Mhm.
you don't see the wings come out until the protagonist of the first film, who apparently like
Dealt
when
with
you're
it
in a horror
before.
movie, when you're in a horror movie, and like people are just doing all sorts of wrong things, and you're watching that, and you're like, wow, like you need to stop doing that. They were consistently just being bad at being in a horror movie.
Except for that one guy where it's like, this motherfucker took my kid 23 years ago. I'm gonna sit in my barn with a damn ballista, and when he comes in my barn, I'm gonna shoot
I'm gonna light his ass up. Absolutely. I respect that
him.
guy. He understood the assignment. But these other ones are like, I just saw this dude drop a body. We could drive to a different town to call the cops, call somebody, have professionals with equipment go check it in. Or how about, since he's already seen us, we
Let's
drive
go look in the
back.
well.
Let's
Yeah.
drive back and you can hold me by my feetsies and dangle me into the death hole. And I'll see what I can see.
The
Um,
27 bodies and 700
Yeah,
bones
and that
down
whole
there.
image is incredibly grotesque. Very weird cinematography. Like when you're looking at the image
Like,
wise, it doesn't logically
yeah.
make sense, but
Yeah,
it's a
because like the
stunning
whole
image.
walls, because he didn't really have a layer. He like
It was
it's
like
like
a little underground. Honestly, like he had dug some shit out and threw a pipe in there to get in and out. You know,
yeah, and like the whole underground thing. I know what they were going for.
behind a
They're going
church.
for the whole. They're
That's
going for the whole catacombs look under there, but they just did it in a horrible way.
yeah, and I mean at the time the first film was it was I think it had a budget of like what I think is a lot of money, but in film industry terms is not a lot of money. It was like I think $9 or $10 million.
I don't even think it was that. Was
All
it?
I know is that they made like 5 or 6 times that much at box office, which is why it was like greenlit for a sequel, and why they were like, this was clearly a success. Everybody loved it. I mean,
Now I
I
will tell you, the first time I seen the movie was on the Sci-Fi Network.
dude, I watched it. I was watching, like when you I think it was a cable thing where it was like creepy horror movies, and it was played directly after House of Wax, which I fucking hate. I hate that movie. I hate it
Never
so
seen it.
much.
Well, you know I don't.
Don't,
I
don't,
don't really do spooky
don't.
like movie
Yeah,
stuff like that. But like, which is weird
it's
because
gross. It was
I
it's about all I'm gonna say is it's about a killer and a wax museum, and that's all you need to know. It's disgusting. I hate it so much. So in that scene, because I had just like come fresh off of watching House of Wax, already shook. I was watching that, and it's like what, like 20 minutes into the film, the brother gets dropped down into the well,
yeah.
and then he's looking and he sees all these bodies like sewn together and shit. up on the wall like some crazy tableau of murdery. And it's just, to me, it was very, there were some parts of the image that reminded me of House of Wax, and it instantly made me sick, and I was like, I hate this so much. But no, it was a cable television like marathon, which I was down for. But how did we get on this? We were talking about, oh, because I was trying to find out, like, I was trying to mentally big brain, well, if this was a cryptid, what would it be? How could I
Yeah,
determine it? And
yeah,
the
because we
thing,
went two different directions. You
yeah,
went cryptid, cryptid stuff. I went actual physical, real life, scary people.
well, I was thinking, I was like, okay, so we look at the physical characteristics of it. It's got flight, it has wings, and it's able to fly. It's like super fast, and it does the thing where the part of it that's scary is that it's impervious to harm in that it regenerates by eating people
And not only that, it regenerates super fast.
super fast by when, like, if like there's one scene where his arm gets cut off or some shit and he eats an arm and then it pops out, like,
Yeah, like Piccolo on Dragon Ball Z. Just like
I love
new arm.
Piccolo was the original daddy. Just real quick, just gonna throw that out there, and that's it. That's all. I'm not gonna give any context to that. There's gonna be no follow up. But no. So, am I wrong? Exactly, I'm not. So, so you got the regeneration feat, and then the thing that's odd about it is the hibernation cycle. I mean, yeah, on the one hand, that's easy enough to explain why no one would know about a dude who just be straight up murdering people in Florida, like a bunch of them grotesquely, like, and the layer and stuff, because he comes around once a generation. So once a generation, he's only up for like less than a month, does some crazy stuff, and then goes back down. Because the original film came out in 2001. So this was like at the very beginning of like personal mobile cellular devices. People were not on Snapchat. They weren't like TikToking.
They
Like,
weren't. Yeah, they weren't shooting their Facebook Live as this thing's flying behind them when they're running down the road.
like, yo, could you imagine if that shit was happening in like, that would be an interesting thing about, because they're rebooting it. From my understanding, they're rebooting it this coming year into a new. They're like
Probably.
redoing it. So I'm wondering
Probably.
how they're going to like tie in the social media aspect of it. But no, it's just the 23-year cycle. He's asleep for 23 years. He wakes up in spring for 23 days, eats his fill, and then takes a nippy nap for another 23 years. And I have some theories on it, and I have some real world information, as well as some cryptid information. But before I go into that, I do want to see where you kind of went down your rabbit hole with.
Okay, so everybody knows Stephen King likes to write
I love Stephen King.
horror books and which get turned into movies and stuff.
He honestly, as a writer, he is an icon because on the one hand, he will flat out say to anyone, he's like, my stuff may not be the best, but I'm consistent and I pump this shit out. Because he does. He sits down and he writes for 8 hours a day, every day, consistently. And he'll
Yeah.
pump out books. And that shit's
So
dope.
yeah, and I'm assuming he gets a lot of his inspiration off of real life events, like
You have to. Yeah, I mean, something's always going to be based in something you know.
and the movie that I was thinking of, movie/book, is Misery, the lady that keeps breaking that dude's legs so he can't go nowhere. That is actually based off an actual person.
Okay.
This shit has happened. Like, there was a writer or something who got in an accident, and this lady's like, "Oh, I'll take care of it." And it turned out that she went freaking batshit crazy and murdered him,
As you do.
as you do. Yeah. It. The movie It
Yes, I want to talk
was
about that.
based off a person that was a clown in a circus that would murder children. Trigger warning.
I do just want to. Oh, I mean, obviously, here's the thing. Here's the thing. First off, trigger warning for I can't do the trigger warning thing because all of these are broken, so I'm just hoping you can hear me. And when I say trigger warning, be advised this episode is gonna have some stuff. It's gonna have some stuff. That's the risk you take. It's the risk you take. We love you. If you have to not be here, I understand completely. But no, the thing about it, which is I'm so glad you brought this up. I didn't realize that Jeepers Creepers had that affiliation with
An
Steven.
actual,
With
yeah,
Steven. So here's the thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing. So the creature in it is actually prevalent in a lot of different works of Mr. King's. So you see, it's a type of creature. It comes up every, what, 27 years?
I think so. I've never watched it simply
Every 27
because.
years, Pennywise, or the creature that we refer to as Pennywise, comes out. It feeds on the fear of children, which is super interesting, right?
Hmm.
Because it's a thing that has a long dormancy, comes out after 20 something, a generational time frame, and specifically feeds on fear. The part of Because this concept, Pennywise, is tied into the larger idea of like The Shining, like what a Shining is. The different books, like I think it's the Dark Towers, or yeah, Dark Towers, Gunslingers. There's a whole bunch. Oh God, it's been so long. I should read some more, Steven. I should go back and read books I have before I buy any more. That's what I have to do this year. Everybody, please stop telling me that I'm allowed to buy new books until I've reread all the ones I have. Um, no, it's super interesting because that's such a crazy. I didn't realize that he would also had involvement with Jeepers Creepers, because now I'm wondering if maybe there is a connection between. Because I was gonna bring up Pennywise specifically because of the fear connection, and that like he uses his for lack of a better term, magic, to create the fear that eventually leads to him feeding off these children's life force. Um, I mean, the creeper eats the people, to be fair. But there is definitely an aspect of it that is metaphysical from what we see. Because in the films, he has some really cool weapons, like a battle axe, which seems, at first glance, it's just a battle axe. He also, in the second film, has this little, like, I think they're called, like, throwing shurikens, like,
Uh-huh.
but it's made of flesh and bone. And he's got this,
Yep.
like, dope, like, sword dagger thing. And his weapons go insanely fast and almost operate with a psychic link. And they have ornate carvings in the handles. Like they were clearly handcrafted or claw crafted, what have you. But I mean, it's definitely, if I would say anything in films would be like an occult relic, the creeper's weapons definitely fall in that category. But it
Yeah.
is super interesting that so Stephen King did have involvement with this
Originally,
originally. Okay.
he
So
like
conceptually,
yeah, like he brought the idea up to somebody at some point in time. Like, but
and
he
somebody
never,
scooped him, and somebody scooped him. Okay.
yeah, whether he just decided not to run with it or somebody else took it before he could, get
Do
the
anything
rights
with
to
it.
it and everything. Yeah, somebody got it from him. But yeah, so yeah, that's what happened with that whole movie situation with all that. But also, if you continue to look at some of his stuff, Psycho was based off a real guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, the lady from Misery was it was based off of a guy. So that's the that's pretty much all the research I did on that. Really, um,
Yeah, because I mean, we're Spooky Saturdays is a research light segment. It's mostly just us talking shit. If you've
so
never been here, that's what it is.
that's as far down as I went on that because then I was gonna go. I started researching the serial killers in my state and all this, that, and other thing, and it just went on a whole big tangent. And I'm like,
That's literally how this shit happens to us every time. I fell down a crazy cryptid rabbit hole in trying to figure out if the creeper was a quote if it was a cryptid, how would we classify it? Because I would love if someone could make like a cryptid classification, like a chart, a flow chart with like the little images and like the genus and everything, phylum, all that. I will literally tell you a secret and we will be best friends forever because I would fucking love that as like a
so
personal thing. But I was trying to figure out all of that and I fell down this crazy like just folklore rabbit hole and I ended up in a completely different place. We both
yeah,
were like, yeah, we're gonna talk about Jeepers Creepers and went two different
so
directions with it.
yeah, so while I was doing that, I was eating blueberry muffins.
All right.
And remember the other day I said I'm gonna ask you something that's gonna just like blow your mind, right?
Yeah, I'm
So I
ready
was
for it.
eating blueberry muffins, like the ones you buy in the store that have a big muffin top on them and stuff.
Yeah, the tasty boys.
Yeah, so that led me to you know how you can go to some stores and buy only tops of muffins?
The fuck do you mean? I know there was a Seinfeld bit. Is that a real thing?
Yes, it is a real thing.
What?
But my question is, if we can buy only tops, why can't we buy only bottoms? Is there like just a bunch of muffin bottoms just getting thrown in the fucking trash can?
That was literally the whole bit. Okay, that was the whole bit. There was a Seinfeld episode.
I've never watched
It
Seinfeld,
was
so
back in the day, and I'm not aging myself because I have had very weird study habits my entire life. So I have to have things I have weird sensory overload for some situations, but for
everybody's like,
others
"Oh,
I
that was yeah," because you're saying that was a Seinfeld. No, other people have told me, "Oh, well, that was a Seinfeld thing." You know what? I don't like Jerry Seinfeld. I've never watched Seinfeld.
no,
I
for
don't.
sure. I mean, again,
So,
we can separate a person from a piece of art that they're in if you're going to
yeah,
call a television show art. Like as a comedian, meh, but
meh.
meh,
But
but I
like the
will
whole
say the
concept of the show, I like
Julie
watched like two
Dreyfus.
episodes.
Julie Dreyfus fucking carried that shit. I don't care who you are. She's a bad bitch. Always and forever. But so her thing is that she wanted to do this thing, Top of the Muffin. That was the name of the restaurant, the business or whatever. And she was like, well, what do we do with the bottoms? So they were trying to donate the bottoms of the muffins to different shelters, and that created a whole a whole conversation on, well, wait a minute, we get that you're donating to this and that's like really thoughtful of you, but also what the fuck, like we like tops of the muffins. It was a whole bit, um just wild. I don't know. So
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's just a tangent my brain went because I would literally peel the top of the muffin off, eat it, look at the bottom, be like, well, this piece is just as good.
see, I'm an absolute I'm unhinged. So when I eat muffins, I eat them two ways. Either I cut them into quarters and eat them like a cake, or I just take a bite out of the muffin from the side and like go. Those are the two ways I eat muffins. I don't
Well, that's
separate the top from the bottom. It's all
the
muffin to
only
me.
the only reason I did it was like the first time I've ever did it because I usually just peel the thing off and eat it. But like the only reason I did it was because it was like 2 a.m. and while I was doing this, I'm like, I need something to eat, and I didn't feel like going downstairs and getting soft foods. So I'm like, I'm gonna eat a fucking muffin,
As you do.
which I instantly regretted because it hurt my throat to beat hell to swallow it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Look at your life,
so
look at your choices.
yeah, I know, but it's like, and then I remembered seeing in some store like they only had the top of the muffins, and I'm like, I've never seen only the bottoms.
That's so
Where's
incredibly is like I understand on the one hand that there's got to be a mark, like the fact that they created this as a product. It was a joke. on a show, but the fact that there was actually a product means that somebody out there was buying it. It was profitable enough for it to be carried in stores. But on the other hand, it's incredibly fucking wasteful. Like, food waste is a capitalism is the real scary thing that we're talking about today. No, um, I haven't had a muffin in a very long time.
But yeah, so that was just a little tangent my mind went off of.
Yeah, as you
Um,
do. Should I tell you the thing? I have to tell you. Okay, I have to tell you. So I had some theories on how we could classify the creeper. Can I tell you about
okay.
this? Okay. So he's got he's got wings, right? And he can
Mhm.
fly and he eats things and he hoards things. What
No,
if
no.
what if he was a bastardization or like a very sub mutated subspecies of dragon? Because in the films, in the lore that you hear from the first and second films, he is described by the psychic as being immeasurably ancient, and that the reason he continues to live is because he continues to feed. So maybe he's like one of the like that because I mean the wings. I'm not trying to be bird
All right,
facts about it,
wait.
but wingspan is important when you're talking about flying creatures.
All right.
Wingspan, strength, bone density, these are all things you have to factor in. The film has these like weak ass, small ass little bat wings. They're supposed to propel this person up. I don't believe for a second that the creeper would be actually capable of flight, given what we see. But
All
magic,
right.
right? That's
Here's a
all I want
question.
to be.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Here may another theory.
Okay.
What if the creeper and Mothman are the same thing?
I mean, okay.
I mean, they
Oh,
fly.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. When was 1976 in conjunction of 2001?
Um,
Math, 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 math.
so we're gonna take
This is the part where we have to bust in a calendar because we don't understand how time works. Or basic addition. I don't care.
2001 minus 1976.
Yeah, minus 1976. So that's like 12. That's 20.
About 25 years.
Right. So with films, it does take some time to film them. So I don't think we ever get a date in that first film, but because it
No,
came out in
we don't.
2001, it's not unreasonable to believe that it was set in 1999, which
Yeah.
would fall in line with the 23-year cycle. And the last sightings of Mothman, unless I am mistaken, was the late 70s. Am I?
Yeah.
I know we covered the
Huh?
Mothman
We we
briefly
we did.
in season one.
Yeah, it was me, you, and
Jotun.
Jotun. Yep. So I don't believe we ever said there was a final date of a sighting, but there has been nothing through the 90s and 2000s that I have heard of. Whether there's some in the late 80s or early 80s, I don't know.
But the fact that it's that close, that actually. But here's the thing, okay? Maybe you know what? I could suspend my disbelief to say that maybe that's a possibility. My only caveat is that I saw in the film adaptation of the Creeper, that he was buff, right? But we never
Uh huh.
see his cape. We never see the tush. And
No.
Mothman has cape. There's a statue that clearly he has cape.
Okay.
So, in order for me to fully believe that this is plausible, I would have to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Jeepers Creepers had a cape. I know that seems
No.
completely weird, but that's where I draw the fucking line. Okay, Thrall? That's where I draw the
Okay.
line.
I'm just saying, like,
No,
just
I never
throwing it out
even
there.
I never even considered that. Because that was my beef with Mothman 2 was the wingspan. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember that. I made a
I
whole I'm
do.
not gonna make this be a bird facts thing. because
Yeah.
I I don't trust birds, but also I know a lot about birds. We're not going to talk about it. Um, another okay. So maybe potentially mutated dragon, maybe potentially Mothman. Um,
Question mark.
question mark.
Yeah.
I did find
To
something really
really get a solid opinion on that, I would like to throw it out there to Ty, maybe.
yes, because god damn, hold on. Let me see if this does it. I don't know if they fixed it. If it's because I know last week we had this issue where it wasn't working, and then it started working halfway through. It doesn't look like it did. Normally, Cryptid brings up the link for Happily Morose, which is Mistress of Misery Ties and Sunshine Owl's YouTube channel. I
And
have
they
a
did a
link.
whole big spot on
They had
Mothman.
a
Yes,
they actually have a video specifically
about Mothman.
about
Yep.
Mothman.
Yes.
I don't know if they covered whether or not the cake was legit or if that was just an embellishment for the statue. I know everybody here wants to know for sure. I'm gonna just throw the link in there because I don't know what the hell's going on with Stream Elements. I don't even know if my stuff is working. Like, because nothing's
You
working.
might have to re-sign in and verify on your Twitch, or you might have to re-sign in the stream elements and relink your Twitch.
But here's the thing. So I pull it up and
Oh
it's
yes, Jagger, we will hydrate. Thank you, sir.
thank you. Okay, I'll have to. You know what? I could just text them, but I don't want to bother them. I can
Jaeger,
find out
you're in
later
chat.
tonight.
What's your opinion? Bearded Trash Panda. Jeepers Creepers Mothman? Yes, no?
Peter Trash Panda Bot. They updated it last. So they did update it last week, and it was kind of ish working last week, but it's just not working today at all, or at least from my perspective. So I don't know. Sorry, I just came back with my foods. So we're
Okay,
talking about
so
Jeepers
yeah,
Creepers. We're trying to because we went two different ways with this. Thrall was like real life crime drama, and I was like cryptids. So we're trying to like at this point we're discussing the creeper from Jeepers Creepers, what you could potentially classify it as, what it could potentially be, and Thrall posits that perhaps it's Mothman.
and Bunny's proposing that maybe some sort of, I'm gonna, for lack of a better term, dragon born
Like
from
a very
way back when.
mutated subspecies of a dragon.
Yeah.
Maybe. Again, really, I have a lot of beef with the depiction of wings because there's no way that wingspan could lift a 6 foot tall, whatever the hell that shit is. You know what I mean? It's just they're not big, they're not strong enough. The tensile strength in like the flesh bits that are the main part of the
Well,
wing, like
maybe there's a
aesthetically
little
they're
bit of
creepy. But
maybe there's a little bit of honeybee thrown in there. We don't know.
I mean, honestly, Jeepers Creeper, the creeper from Jeepers Creepers, is, for lack of a better term, I mean, is a metaphysical creature
Yeah.
in the
So,
context of the story. So I guess magic propulsion, whatever. But
or maybe like Superman in the feat of it's just sheer strength.
oh, that's unnerving. Although if that's
Because
the case, then he does his
Superman
squats because
Superman
his legs were
flies with,
buffed. So there has to be cape, which would make Mothman plausible in my mind. Because that's the one caveat I have with Mothman. Because the timeline works, but I would need to know because the Mothman statue has Mothman with a like a very good looking tush. I need to know that the creeper would have an adequate good looking tush to be able to believe that they're the same creature. The butts have to match.
they, I, I'm not saying one way or the other, but like I will say the films never give you a
You never see his
cake shot
posterior,
because he's always wearing the
the
trench
trench
coat.
coat, up until he's like doing a bunch of murders up
Yeah.
close and. Moscow, what are you doing, bro? My cat's being outrageous. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know. But I had another thing that I came up with because again, I was trying to go through cryptids and folklore that I knew of and like animals to try to figure out what could follow along the physical characteristics we see, um, as well as like the traits and the
Okay.
time, the hibernation timeline. Like, what could we connect and make sense of and say, oh well, this has got to be like this.
Okay, so
I thought it was a
Jaeger.
reptile man, but a few people think he's demonic in some way or cursed. Yeah, I had heard about the demon thing. Um, I don't know. Because again, I know that they have 4 movies. I only, again, knew that there was 2 for sure. I've watched 2 of them. And I guess there's also a comic book that goes into like some crazy back lore that doesn't quite align with the first 2 films. And from what I could tell, because I didn't look very into the other 2 films, the third film everybody agrees was garbage. So I don't know is the answer. It may, I mean, that would make sense because when you see him in the depiction in the first 2 films, he's got like this very dark green, dark gray, almost like scale flesh, and just the third nostril specific to pick up on like a fear pheromone is wild to me, and I definitely agree that that would be something reptilian. Because they're wings, that also kind of leads credence to it maybe potentially being related to like a drake or a dragon. I'm not saying that they're the same thing. I'm saying it lends credence to it. I
I
don't
think
know
it's the
enough about
wrong.
demons or whatever to make an
I,
injection on that.
I think it's the wrong type of wing to be a dragon. Honestly, it looks more like a bat wing to me,
Yeah.
with the curvature of the. I'm not gonna say bones, but cartilage and stuff that's running through.
I mean, it would have to for wings that size to be able to lift that thing effectively, even if we only said maybe a few feet off the ground, which in the films is not the case. The bone strength, the density, I mean, it'd be like carbine steel. Like, it would have to
That
be so strong. And even then the tensile strength of the flesh surrounding those bones has to equally be thick and but yet malleable in order to
yeah,
create that pocket of air
and
for
and
lift.
not only that, but also the speed that he gets with them.
No, I do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. But I mean, I don't. This is a film. This is a film. This is a film series. Like, this is not real. But like, we're over here like, no, this shit's not right. Like, it's not right. Bird facts. No. But I thought it was really one thing that again always struck me as weird about the creeper, and not in like a how interesting, but like a that's fucking gross. The part where like if he the reason he regenerates and that it's like you said with Piccolo, like where shit just grows right back, but that he has to eat something, a comparable item,
All right.
to be able to do that.
So I sent you a message in Discord, an image of the best cake picture of Jeepers Creepers I can get. Because this whole time I've been scrolling
I
through
love the fact that this has become this this is what we've devolved to. I can't see. There's no. I mean,
I
no.
mean, yeah, you can't see the.
I mean, it looks
It's
like
like
they're
a
gonna
side view.
kiss.
Yeah, I'm not. I was just looking at like the back hump of the cake,
Yeah,
but
no, I don't see that being a cake situation.
no. But I was looking at some other pictures of him like just standing, like
So
like full front view of like
so
how his legs
Jaeger,
and stuff are.
yeah,
He would have to have cake
you would
to lay his
maybe,
maybe.
maybe. So Jaeger, what happens in the movies is that when he takes physical damage, he is able to regenerate and grow it back. But we see physically in the film, in order to do that, he has to eat that part of a body. So when his eyes are fucked up, spoiler alert if you haven't watched this movie that's 22 years old, when his eyes are fucked up and he ends up eating the eyes of what's his face, And then the next scene where we see him, he's got what's-his-face's eyes. His eyes have been rejuvenated. There's also a scene where he loses a hand, and he eats an arm, and then the hand spouts out. So there's that. It's definitely, it's super weird, because that's not really a thing you see in nature. You don't see in nature that in order to grow something back, I mean, there's plenty of animals out there that do grow things back.
Yeah.
But you don't see it being as a result of eating the same thing. I mean, on the one hand, you could definitely you could link it to other cryptids who gain the strength of things by eating body parts of their prey. I'm not going to go into super detail there because I'm not doing it, and that's just a hard rule for me. I'm not going to go there. We're not going to talk about windy boys here. But what I will say I found, which I thought was really cute, one of my favorite mobs in Minecraft, the axolotl, shares some stuff in common with the creeper. Axolotls can regenerate their body parts if they lose a limb, if they lose part of their tail or a fin or anything. They grow it back. Also, they're cannibals. It is well documented that axolotls eat other axolotls regularly.
So, all right, if we're going with the regenerative of eating parts,
it's a weird thing, and that's like,
and then we're gonna transition into the cannibal. There are tribes in parts of the world that are cannibalistic, and they believe that if you eat certain parts of the person, you will gain strength in now.
So
parts.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Innocent last week. This is
we're not going down that rabbit hole.
We're going to tread very carefully
because
there's a line I'm not crossing. Cool.
That's all I'm saying about it. That's just a reference to what.
Whenever we talk about cannibals, there's like a certain point where I'm like, and I have to stop you.
Yes.
For many reasons.
That's as far as I was going to go with it. But yeah.
I took that idea and I'm like, okay. So if we're thinking about like regenerative or like self-healing properties, but as a result of the feed, of the kill, and I started to think about other things. Now, of course, a lot of people make the connection between potentially the idea, the concept of what the creeper would represent, and how certain nations would view something like the Windy Boy. I don't agree with that at all. It doesn't make any sense, and I'm not gonna go into the details of why people think that, because it doesn't make any sense, and I'm just not gonna give any credit to it. It's bad thinking. Do better. But what I will say is that there is a creature within folklore that does share a lot of common traits that I immediately thought of, and I was like, but I'd have to look it up to make sure. And I looked into it a little this morning, not a lot because I got distracted, and that's not my fault. It's who I am as a person. I don't know what HD is, but I got 80 of them sons of bitches. No, so a strigoi, which...
Okay, never heard of, but okay.
Yes, so a strigoi. So it's... depending on where you're getting your information from. It's from the Wallachia area, like Transylvania or whatever. Uh-huh. And a lot of that sort of stuff eventually feeds into the mythos of like vampires.
Okay.
And some people will make the connection between a strigoi and a strega and a strix, which are three different creatures. A strix is like a Grecian like bird woman who be straight up murdering children and feeding on them to like live their best bird life. A striga is is like a sketch ass vampire type deal. A cursed, depending on like again the folklore that you're looking to that you're referencing, and what their cultural background is that they're taking that information from, because everything should be, when you're looking at folklore, you have to look at the context of the region you're hearing it from, and you have to color it with the history of the peoples that are telling you that story in order for it to make sense. So a lot of the times when we're looking at Striga, you're looking at the idea of a cursed woman or a cursed creature that is a woman, or it's a cursed witch or a witch that died and was cursed, or in some cases, someone who lived a life of sin and died when they weren't married, because that is legitimately a thing, which is fucking weird in some of the folklore. It's crazy. But the idea is that they also feed on the young, they feed on children, on these very innocent people in order to maintain their like cursed life and continue living, doing their thing, you know, vibing and thriving and murdering. But the Strigoi is something that I specifically thought of because of how a Strigoi is described as having the bald head, the straggly hair, and specifically a lot of the depictions of a Strigoi have the bat features, where it could hang upside down when it's dwelling, and it's someplace and it's hibernating, where it's staying out of sight, where it doesn't want to draw attention to itself during the daytime, but it will hunt at night. And specifically that it has wings. In most depictions of a Strigoi, that it has wings, or if it doesn't physically have wings, people can see that it does possess the ability to fly. And like the other two creatures I mentioned, that a lot of people will draw together those three things and kind of come up with like the background of what eventually became vampire mythos. So a Strigoi feeds on the innocent, like the innocent peoples. So children, old folks that have lived good lives, those that are easy target, easy prey, to feed off of their life force, to scare them and feed off of the life force that is emboldened by their fear. And that is why I immediately thought of Strigoi. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, it's valid. I can see that.
I mean, I don't see the reptilian thing, because we do see, to Jaeger's point, we do see like some reptilian features from the makeup artistry that they do in the films. But there was a lot there for me to say immediately, like that was the first thought I had, was like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just flipping through some of the imagery from the movies, like all three of the movies.
There's
First of
four. There's
all,
four. There's four movies.
well, it's only
Up
bringing
until
up.
today, up until today, we were both under the impression there was two movies.
Actually, this says Jeepers Creepers 5.
So you're probably looking at images from the upcoming reboot, maybe?
Oh,
How many fucking movies does this franchise have?
hang
My
on.
goodness. Hold
I'm about
on.
to I'm about to look this up.
I
How?
would use the thing for fact check, but it can't. The commands aren't working right now. We need answers. Please,
How,
someone
mu-
fucking
how
fact
many
check.
Jeepers Creepers movies are there? Let's see.
It's actually Jeepers Creepers movies all
There
the
are
way down.
currently 4.
Okay.
There was one in 2001 called Jeepers Creepers. Hi,
Hi,
Mom.
Mom. Thank you for the biddies. We appreciate the
There
unipeens.
was Jeepers Creepers 2 in 2003.
Yes.
Jeepers Creepers 3 in 2017. And then last year, Jeepers Creepers Reborn in 2022. I will say the imagery from Jeepers Creepers 3, they gave him white old man hair.
Well, you had that kind of in. It wasn't very prevalent, but you could see it in the first one when he was hiding as a scarecrow when he was
I thought
fighting.
that was just some straw or something he stuck up there. I guess it could have been hair. I guess because in all the other imageries from that movie, there you see like no hair whatsoever.
I mean, it could have been in with his hat too. That also is a point.
Yeah. So a total of all four films had a total box office of $130.8 million.
Tell you what, that's a lot of Girl Scout cookies.
The budget for three of the films was 33.2 million dollars combined. So for movies 1 through 3, it was $33.2 million to make the movies,
That's money.
which they're spending that on like one movie nowadays. So like,
Yeah, I mean, again, these were very, comparatively speaking, low budgety.
yeah.
But I just, I immediately think of the first movie set in Florida. I don't know if they're all set in Florida, but I know specifically that they're
They
driving through Florida.
they range from Florida to Texas.
So he could be Florida Man. We've missed the
Could be Florida.
opportunity to say that Jeepers Creepers is in fact Florida Man.
Could be. Because I know the guy that original, like the actual guy, the guy I was talking about, he was in, what was it, one of the Midwestern states, and then he hid out in Florida under another name, or not Florida but Texas.
Texas, yeah. You're talking Dennis Depew.
Dennis Depew, yeah. Um, I meant to write down where he was from, but I didn't. So
Um, yeah, I don't have that. I have that uh in 1990 is when his wife tried to file for divorce, and then he, in his wisdom for conflict resolution, shot her, and then proceeded to dump her body in broad daylight behind a schoolhouse where he was
yeah,
spotted. And then he
yes,
doubled down on crazy and in his car chased the two people who spotted him for several miles in his car to try to run them off the road.
yes,
And then proceeded to say, oh well, and then just dipped from his life.
yeah.
The only rational, insane plan you got. It's crazy.
I guess. Yeah. Nuts.
Um,
Sorry, I have to. I'm eating a snack.
no, that's fine. I am all about making sure, snack time is important. Make sure you hydrate before you dehydrate, because Jaeger did tell you.
I
And if
did.
you need to take a break for your voice, we can also do that. That is perfectly fine.
No, I'm good right now. Sorry. Um. So yeah, that's basically. I went down the.
The true crime, and then
Okay.
like films that were
Yeah.
also based on
I
that.
went down of. Okay, all these people are nuts because they're basing all their horror movie people off of real people. And it amazed me at how many films, not only Stephen King but other writers, have done that. It's weird.
So it doesn't amaze me. It actually makes perfect sense because you
Oh,
have to know
wait.
a subject source. You have to understand a subject to be able to adequately storytell about it. And even if
Okay.
you make something completely far-fetched, like uh, a clown that kills you that comes and scares children every 27 years to eat their fear, you have to kind of base that on something, some small aspect, some behavioral trait, some idea that has to spark that.
All right. I'm gonna have to ask you to waffle for a second. My brother just
Absolutely.
texted me. I have to do a thing.
Absolutely. I will waffle for a
I
second.
will say I did find out where the actual Dennis Depew was from. It was Battle Creek, Michigan.
Interesting.
Okay, so I will be right back.
So, again, I'm sorry if you just got here and you're catching up. We're talking about the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers, the film franchise, which apparently has had more than two films. I thought it was only two up until very recently. There's also been like a comic book. Um, we kind of came up with this idea from actually a meme that we put in Jaeger's Discord. Decided we were gonna just like talk about it, but we didn't actually communicate that what aspect of it we were gonna talk about. So he went down the true crime rabbit hole, and I went down the let's try to figure out the cryptid rabbit hole. Um, so there is some dispute over like whether or not the Depuce case, that whole image of him running these teens off the road for seeing him dumping a body, is what led into the opening scene of the 2001 film, or like how they based that on, or if it was another film that caused that. Well, hi. Thank you for the. I didn't get a notification, but I see that you have the Prime. Thank you for the Prime, Subby. I appreciate you, Scotty. What's up, dude? I'm waffling because Thrall had to handle business, so I'm just catching people up because I know people trickle in and out of here. Um, as far as cryptids go, we've kind of gone over a couple of different options that would align with the Jeepers Creeper. Um, so far, I'm still very convinced that it would be closer to a Strigoi than anything else. But I do like Thrall's theory that it's actually Mothman. We still haven't found an image of the Jeepers Creepers depicted with enough cake for me to believe that, because canonically, according to the Mothman statue, Mothman has cake. I would have to touch base with Ty or Al to confirm if the cake is in fact a correct depiction for Mothman. But actually, I'm going to do that now because he stepped away. But how's everybody doing? Um, hope everybody's having a great day, great Saturday. I'm just gonna send a voice note. Hey, ladies, does Mothman have cake? Um, I don't know if it was something that was actually discussed in the YouTube video you guys did, but I figured you two did an extensive amount of research on Mothman, so you'd be the best ones to ask. There, I sent them a message and we'll find out. Yes, we do extensive research. I did research, but I fell down like a very weird, like folklore rabbit hole. Also, I found out that axolotls are cannibals, and you'd think that would make me think that they're not as cute as they are. Like, oh my god, it broke my heart about them. That actually kind of makes them cuter, because they're little murderers. You know, little axolotls, adorable. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? 'Cause I know we had a whole list, and the one thing I wrote down about that, I had a couple of lists of different cryptids that I thought were akin to what the Jeeper Creeper, the thing that it had. And then I have in very bold text, axolotls are cannibals and they regenerate limbs. So maybe he's an axolotl. Okay, hear me out, actually. Chat, please back me up. I don't want to be bird facts about this. I know I've said this like 15 times in the hour and a half we've been live. If you have seen the film, if you have seen a photo of the creeper from Jeepers Creepers, do you think that the wings would be strong enough, it has depicted, would be strong enough for this thing to actually be able to fly? I don't think so. And in the films, he flies not only like efficiently, but fast as fuck, boy. So how? Okay. So Sunshine says that yes, the Mothman has cake. So I just have to be able to figure out if if the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers has cake, because that for me is the defining feat. I can I can I can talk away the wingspan issue and just chalk it up to metaphysical shit and magic, you know? But I draw the line at the cake. Given the wings are leathery like a leather blah 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 blah, or demon wings, I would say they're strong enough for flight. But okay, hear me out though. So the creeper canonically is like over 6 feet tall, right? So for it to be able to have a wingspan capable of carrying it, because the wings are about depth wise, maybe a third of its height. So width wise, it would have to be 2 to 3 times as long as its total height. So we're looking at a wingspan, I'm guesstimating, and someone can absolutely fact check me on it, but it should have a wingspan of 12 to 18 feet, which is a pretty big number, in order to be able to effectively carry him. And we don't see that. It doesn't make sense because how would they fold up in such a way to have that wingspan and have the wings be able to be effectively hidden beneath a trench coat and be able for him to walk around enough for people to not immediately clock that he's got fucking wings. You know? I gotta hydrate. Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. Also, Al said that Mothman does in fact have cake. So Mothman's cake has been confirmed. The Creepers is still out for debate.
Okay, so the creeper's still out. So we don't know if the creeper does in fact have cake or not.
Yes, and this is this is the linchpin for the like. Will I believe that it is plausible that this could be Mothman? Does he have cake? Is the real question that I pose to you. Because if the answer is yes, then maybe. Because again, um, canonically, according to the lore of the film franchise, that the creeper, it's the 23rd year, he rises for 23 days to eat and then goes and takes another nap.
Well, you know what? Spring is approaching. And given the timeline, the last time Mothman was seen, we're due. If somebody says, "Oh, I see Mothman," I'm like,
So
"No, you've seen the creeper."
so you're saying if the creeper is Mothman, that this
Yes,
would be around the time this year or next year would be around the time.
where people would starting to see Mothman again.
Okay. Uh Mom gave us
What's
a
going on?
hydrate and said that's for both of you, and as long as the edge bones are strong enough to hold the weight, and the span wouldn't need to be as wide as long as it's 3 to 4 foot wide, should be fine. Wisconsin man bat, the Russian flying man are all wild, weirdly reptilian creatures with bat wings. This is beautiful. I need to look those up right now.
Yeah, I was just saying I've never heard of either one of those, but thank you for your input, Jaeger. Appreciate it. I
Jaeger,
love getting chat. I love getting chat involved in this stuff. It's awesome.
this is what we're here for. We're gonna figure it out together. We're gonna crowdsource this shit because
Like
I need answers.
I figured we do like 20 to 30 minutes on Jeepers Creepers, and then we just be like
See, this is
Thrall
what
bunny
happens.
tangent.
This is what happens when
But
we
like,
actually research shit, Thrall. Look at us go. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if we had done this for any other episode?
yeah, God.
So efficient. So efficient. And if I remember right, with Jeepers Creepers, each wing is about 3 feet wide. That would be a minimum of 6 feet wingspan, but that's on per side. The way a wingspan is measured is not from tip to tip; it's from tip to shoulder. So that'd be 12 feet, which you don't see. I don't know. I don't know. I'm uncomfortable with it, to be honest with you. So I want to look up Wisconsin. You know what's really interesting? I'm not tangenting, I swear to God, because we don't have the derailed command available. We don't have any commands available right now. The other day in Sleuthport, Al was giving me a book recommendation for a book I had never heard of called The Secret, which was like a treasure hunting book where they had like an image and a poem, and it's supposed to lead you to a treasure box that's buried
Uh
somewhere,
huh.
and inside the box is a key, and you mail the
Yeah,
key
I
someplace and they give you a gem. I literally had these
remember that.
ladies up with me. I had Al and I had Archie up with me like a ridiculous amount of time trying to like solve this shit, and I think I solved the one that's
Okay, well,
potentially in Wisconsin.
while you're looking that up, I'm gonna go back to the movie Misery for just a second
Yeah.
because I have found out her name. Let's see, the movie Misery. Everybody knows Stephen King wrote it in 1987. Happens to be the year I was born. The story had world famous fiction author involved in an accident and nursed back to health by a nurse named Annie Wilkes as a woman who held him captive in order for him to write his new book, as is the plot of Misery. Um, Wilkes, which is the nurse, was actually based off of Janine Jones, a woman obviously, who killed countless people using lethal injections of drugs while she was supposed to be taking care of them.
So like an Angel of Mercy type deal, or is she just like a straight up
I,
poisoner?
I think she's just a straight up poisoner. Like, it really doesn't say much about it. It just says that the nurse in that book was based off her, who was doing this by killing people with lethal injections of drugs. It doesn't say what kind of drugs, so I'm going to assume all kinds of different drugs. But you know what they say about assuming.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not going back to the It series because we covered that enough. But I will say it was based off of John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Yes, which most people already know.
And I will
Um,
say this as a I hate to be like so very niche about my ridiculous like hardcore opinions on stuff. I have the up I don't like clowns. I don't hate them. They creep me the fuck out. However, I have the utmost respect for the clowning community. Like the dudes who have their egg and their face paint registered on the egg and who like are artists about it. I respect the fuck out of those dudes. Um I don't like clowns. They make me
yeah,
uncomfortable.
I actually do have a story involving clowns, but I will not go into it because I know it's a trigger for a lot of people.
I get uncomfortable. Very
Well,
uncomfortable.
it is a Pennsylvanian lore, so yeah. Then if you want to know more, I'll tell you more off stream. I just don't want to trigger the audience
No,
with
that's fair.
a
That's fair.
clown story.
I'm
So,
trying to find because I
uh,
please, I'm
what is
not
it?
disabling my pop-ups. Get fucked website. Because
Oh
I'm using
yeah,
the
I've had a
internet to
bunch of
search
them ask
things.
that. I've had a bunch of
So
them
I'm
ask that
looking
very thing.
up. The
What
first one I
was
looked
it?
up was the Wisconsin man bat,
Yeah, hang on,
which
somebody's knocking on
is
my door. Yeah.
oof,
Huh? Your parents
okay.
home? Okay, cool.
The best date since 1848. Do do do.
And what is it?
It's the
The
Wisconsin man bat,
Russian
Jaeger,
flying men?
and the other one was the Russian flying men, which is a
Okay.
cryptid.
I'm on to the Russian flying men because
Okay, okay. So it looks like there's a lot of reading, and I will just read it. Story goes September 26, 2006, approximately 9:30 p.m. A 53-year-old father, um, he used his First Nation name, and his 25-year-old son were driving over a hilled area in Briggs Road, which is located at La Crosse County, where their headlights illuminated a terrifying flying figure through the air and headed straight back at their truck. Caught off guard by the massive shape, it was about to collide with them. The son quickly swerved the vehicle to the side of the road in order to avoid hitting the creature, but at the last moment, the unknown thing changed its direction and shot straight up into the night sky while shrieking loudly and disappeared from view. Almost instantaneously, a strange illness overtook both the men inside the trucks. They hurriedly opened the doors to vomit. The son puked multiple, like 7 or 8 times in a ditch. The father kept also doing the same thing, but was also trying on the other side of the truck to like get them back in the truck. This was after several minutes of all this. They get back in the truck. They go home, and they kept being sick. The next week, they were still sick, and it looks like they couldn't figure out what was wrong, like what made them that sick, like medically speaking. But it did eventually subside after several weeks. The creature is described as a gray-brown in color, 6 to 7 feet tall, large leathery bat-like wings, 10 to 12 feet wide. The creature appeared to have large arm-like appendages that seemed to be attached to the wings, looking as though they were topped off like claws. And extending out from the bottom of the body were 2 human-like legs with monstrous feet that had claws instead of toes. Noticeably sharp teeth inside of its big-ass mouth. The eyes were glowing yellow in the light, which is crazy, actually.
Okay, so the Rushing Flying Men took me to a different thing called the Blackbird of Chernobyl. Which I know a lot of people's theories on the Mothman is it was the United States doing stuff with radiation and all that stuff. So this kind of makes sense. On April 26th, in 1986, a horrific accident occurred at Chernobyl power plant. Shortly after that, people have been started seeing the Blackbird of Chernobyl, which is apparently Russians' version of the Mothman. Right down to the description that we have from the United States.
I do want to just quickly say this, because this is wild. So looking at the depiction of the Wisconsin man bat, I think Yeager had a very solid point in bringing this up. Like, the sketch doesn't look like the depiction that we see. However, the description definitely does, especially even the sharp teeth, is wild to me. And apparently they weren't the only ones who saw this. There were lots of sightings between the mid to late 90s all the way through that time frame, but not consistently enough to make a timeline like how they have with Mothman. There's actually, I don't know if you know this, there are people with the title of cryptozoologists, which are these are researchers that study cryptids like as creatures, like how a zoologist or like a marine biologist would go out and document the conditions in which animals live, how they live, all about them. These individuals kind of sort of do the same thing as much as they potentially can with cryptids and the lore around them. A lot of these cryptozoologists will actually classify the Wisconsin man bat along the same family as Mothman.
Okay, so I'm reading some Tales of prophetic beings warning of catastrophe but not limited to the most infamous Silver Bridge collapse. Blah blah. Two Mothman photos were taken in New York City on September 11, 2001. So they're saying that the Mothman is when people see him or it
Yeah. It's not that
being
the
foretold.
Mothman does something. The Mothman is a harbinger.
Okay.
It's a sign or a warning of something to come. I don't recall, and I could be mistaken, but I feel like I I don't recall anywhere in the Mothman mythos that he was eating people or
Yeah, I
even
don't recall
harming
that.
them.
I don't recall that either. So my theory may be out the window because as I'm reading more about this,
Well, hold
and
on.
then
Maybe not so though. Maybe not so. I'll let you get what you're done, and then I'll circle back.
well, some of the comments are like um, that are saying that based on the events and stuff and the events that are happening now. Like there's a comment from like 2 days ago that says this something tells me that this year is going to be more interesting by the day as they have had reports of people seeing things that they didn't understand. So is this the year that it goes? See that's our original question.
Yeah,
Is
that
this
was the question that brought up the connection between the idea of the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers and Mothman was the
so?
timeline.
So is this the year that Mothman or Jeepers Creepers or both, if they're two separate cryptids, are going to start appearing again?
So I know originally my original thing that I posited out there was that potentially the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers could have been like a subset mutated
Dragon.
species line of potentially a dragon. I did
Uh
also
huh.
want to touch base on an insect. I'll do that in a minute, but I want to run with the Mothman thing. And I can't thank you enough, Jaeger, for bringing my attention to the Wisconsin man bat. You are a fucking legend to my guy because this is wild.
What's
So
this Manta Man?
I don't know what Manta Man is. I haven't looked that
Is
up.
a Chilean
A
bat
Chilean
monster.
bat monster.
So I will look that up while you
Manta
talk about
Man.
what you're
Do
talking
do 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 do. Sorry. So the ideas that we're seeing across the board in the film series, in that canon, the folklore of that series, is that time and time again, the prey of the creeper, to some degree, there is a psychic connection between those directly impacted or indirectly impacted by the feedings and the creature itself. The fact that in the first film, uh, Derry and I think her name is Trish, brother and sister, they
about.
specifically get a warning from a psychic. A psychic calls a restaurant, a diner that they have fled to try to call somebody about the shit they just seen. And the phone on the wall rings, they pick it up, and the lady knows it's them, is a psychic, and is saying, like, all this shit's gonna go down, which towards the end of the film, you see bits and pieces from her prediction take place. Of course, she's very like obvious. She's not like at 9:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're gonna see this shit happen. This is what you need to do. She did not do that. She was very cryptic about what she tells them, which I understand. You know, foresight is a double-edged sword, and you don't want to give away too much for the fear of locking it in or it's weird. You don't want to know your future. Just don't fucking do it. But it's a very interesting thing because it's not the only time in the two films of the series that I've watched where you see that psychic connection. You also see that connection between the spirit of Derry after he has been eaten and consumed by the creature, and one of the future victims or potential victims. I'm not going to super spoil things. Y'all can figure it out. But where she sees Derry, who's trying to like do the like narration explanation of everything that's going on, telling her about the creature. And that's a psychic connection there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So case in point, we look at the story I just read, the abridged story of the Wisconsin man bat. The visceral illness that takes place over these two people who were not touched or breathed the same air as this thing. They had a brief, like, two boats in the night encounter with this thing on a road. They never hit it, they just happened to look at it. And they became so overwhelmed and sick to the point that they were so sick they pulled over to vomit for several minutes until there was nothing left on their system, and they still felt sick for weeks until it subsided, until they eventually felt better, and they could not find a physical cause to their illnesses according to this story. So it if so facto Columbo, case in point, it could be that the illness itself was a reaction to psychic stimulus. Like perhaps the what
Weaken your prey before you
eat it.
eat it. Which we know that some animals do.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Because I mean,
Uh,
it didn't poison it. So I mean, you still could eat something if you didn't poison it, because then you won't eat the poison.
Correct.
But if you just make it so that way it can't run very far,
I mean,
because
there's
it's
literally animals out there that will yell or shout to stun their prey before they eat it.
yeah,
Like there's a shrew that screeches to knock out insects.
yeah, no, for sure, and that's well documented. Like
Yeah.
biologists document this, and like everyday animals that we absolutely know for 100,000% are certain real. So,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that cryptozoologists, the people who stake their name as professionals in that specific field, whether I believe that that is a legitimate field or not is not really important, because I don't have that. I'm not calling myself that. I am just a bitch talking shit on the internet, you know? Um but the fact that they're willing to make the connection between Mothman and the Wisconsin man bat, and there's that difference there.
And the Russian thing.
And if you're
What was it?
thinking about, if you go back to Mothman, the idea behind Mothman, a lot of the time, is not that he physically attacks anyone. Mothman, specifically within the lore, is is a harbinger of, hey, shit's gonna go down. The whole concept
Well,
of major events that change things, that impact a lot of death. They ripple enough through the time, like time space, that it called to this particular creature to start showing itself there to warn
so
people, which is also to some degree is psychic phenomenon. So we have these psychic flying creatures.
okay. So along that aspect, can you look up while I'm reading
Yes.
this?
Actually, I need to turn the light on in my office because it just got very fucking overcast. And it's a little spooky. So I'll be 2 seconds.
Alright.
I need to like go get my light switch, which is on the other side of the office. I'll be right back.
Alright. Um, so I'm gonna go on this Manta Man that Jaeger has also pointed out. So the Manta Man is a strange flying humanoid creature seen in northern Chile. It has 4 limbs, 2 of which have large manta ray fin-like membranes, or like we've been saying, the Batwing kind of thing. It has been seen eating dogs. The first sighting of this strange being occurred September 29th, 2013. So I'm actually going to look up
We should be
hearing
writing
that.
down timelines.
Yeah. While I'm doing this, can you look up to see if there's any major events that happened in Chile around September 2013?
Okay.
Because if we're gonna go down this whole harbinger of being thing, that was first started in September 2013. Witnesses claim it's about 6 foot tall. It looks very much like a manta ray, or what manta rays are,
The thing that isn't
in the ocean, the water, the
aren't
rays
those
that are
aren't
in the
those the
ocean.
sons of bitches that killed Steve Irwin?
Yes.
May he rest in peace.
So they're saying it looked like that. This witness under the pseudonym, I can't. Anyhow,
Pseudonym?
he sketched a picture of it.
Okay.
Oh, those were stingrays. Okay, manta rays and stingrays are different. Okay. Yes, Shay.
Okay. Thank you. I was already triggered. I was like, I'm about to fight this thing. Okay, thank you for clarifying. I don't
So
need to fight this.
he did a sketch that very much looks like the sketches of the Mothman. Just with the wings being a little bit different.
Okay.
It was cited many more times in Chile after original sighting, such as another anonymous witness spotting the creature in the Alpine Los Berca commune. I'm not good at Spanish. And then later being reported as hanging around and hanging from a church tower in Santiago.
Okay.
Many citizens draw comparisons and to other strange species spotted in Chile years prior, which bore wings but possessed kangaroo-like faces. So, like the longer, drawn-out face.
Which is
Which some people say the Mothman, or the bird in Russia, the bird-like feature. So if they're not seeing it up close, kangaroo has the longer face. So I don't know.
okay.
And then I just want to read this comment because it was hilarious.
Yeah, no worries. Do it.
Mothman, Owlman, Mantis Man, Batman, Abominable Snowman, Batman, Wolfman. Too many men are in cryptozoology. I threw Batman in there to make sure you were paying attention. But seriously, Manta Man sounds a lot like Mothman. I guess these odd creatures live around the globe.
And the reason they're getting spotted is because they're men. Learn to cover your tracks better. I'm kidding. That's ridiculous.
And then this one goes, Manta Man. Okay, yeah.
I love the internet the internet can be a disturbing and fucked up place, but it's also beautiful. Let's see.
Yes, yeah. The manta rays have the big opening mouth with the kind of like, not like a kite, but like a, yeah, I know what they are. What's the SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yeah.
Manta Man. The bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's trying to teach Patrick Star how to read.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna very close to the same thing.
Okay, so 2013 globally, it didn't look like a lot of crazy shit happened. Like along the lines of what we would see be something that would call a big ol' harbinger burp. There was a lot of like political shit that happened, which I don't really care about.
We're not going down that.
There was also some student protests in the in the few years there. Human rights stuff. Uh, Chilean Independence Day.
I was looking for like fires, earthquakes,
I mean, there were some, but they were not in Chile. There
hurricanes,
were
like
like in like Bangladesh. It looks like there was a pretty major garment factory that collapsed with a thousand plus people dying. Uh, a typhoon killed about 6,000 people in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. There was a meteor strike. Hold on, let me just do this. That will help me. Let me new tab this bad boy. So we're looking at, you said September?
yeah, around the end of September.
Okay. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, which we can all agree was a fucking.
My niece is playing that right now.
Listen, first off, I loved all of the Trevor side missions. I loved playing when you got to play as Trevor. Because I too am fucking unhinged, and it just was a great time. I didn't like the online gameplay. It seemed really, I wasn't a fan.
It's so
But
toxic.
I loved the story, like the aliens and stuff. Um, September 8th, floods in Colorado, River Basin. Uh, it looks like there was towards the end of
Nothing that.
September, there was a militant attack in Nairobi.
No.
And then if we're looking in October just to see uh 7.2 earthquake in the Philippines, Security Council stuff, November, we had the Mars stuff, the typhoon, that was again in the Philippines and Vietnam. Meow meow meow. Um and let's see, a flight crash in Russia. And then December, just some politically stuff. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything like crazy. However, me bringing up the fact that the Mothman was is considered a harbinger was more so to point out the fact that that was like a psychic phenomenon, not necessarily that these other cryptids, which to some degree in some circles of cryptozoology, people are making the connections that these are subspecies of the Mothman family.
Okay.
Like that they're a similar thing, but they're not the same exact thing.
Apparently,
Um,
Jaeger's been. I don't know if Jaeger knows this or he's been looking or what, but He says, you also have the Ahul, which shows up in
Yahoo, yes.
Vietnamese mythos as well as Brazil, Java, Mexico. The Mayan worship as the death bat, but they are usually female looking.
Yes.
So,
So I actually was looking at this earlier. Um, I was looking at this one earlier, and I think that that's where I landed on it was that it was that it didn't have the same physical characteristics, and that it was specifically almost like a feminine thing, is how it came across rather than a scary. But it is definitely incredibly interesting how many cryptids have very similar situations going on. Ahul, because of the scream they emit. I creepy flying creatures. Creepy flying creatures indeed. I honestly you I mean if we're
okay, so they said what Santiago as well, right? When I was reading that, I do believe.
yeah,
Santiago 2013. Um, A blast in a packed Santiago metro station injures 14 people.
I mean, it's not along the same scale as the Silver Bridge, but I mean, that's still that's. I mean, you could still chalk it up to coincidence, but the fact that that is even a coincidence to be had in and of itself is interesting. Now
Yeah.
I'm looking to see. I'm looking to see if Wisconsin had anything. Um, it
Oh,
looks
I'm
like
loving
there
this.
was
This is
something about there was. I mean, where the man bat has been seen geographically speaking. Um, one unfortunate death is even reported as happening not long after the sighting of, but it doesn't tell me what. That's rude. Disrespectful, internet. Please tell me the answers. It's not like I'm being tested or anything, but
no, we're not live on the internet.
there's no test.
People want answers.
I mean, I obviously this is just this is. See, might have to go back and do another Mothman bit. We might have to
I
do
think
that.
if we go back and do another mock wall, I'm I
We can
can't because
no. We'll have this could
unless we do it on another day.
on another
Time.
day. No, this would be I think a Thursday chat.
I think we need to bring in the Mothman experts, the baddies,
Yeah, absolutely,
and
absolutely.
as me as an honorary baddie because Al made me an
Al
honorary
needs to
baddie.
stop doing that. I love her so much. She needs to stop doing that shit.
I get to be part of that conversation.
I've had this discussion. We've had this discussion with her. But I will continue to repeat it. She's sweet. We love her very much. I did want to circle back because we were talking originally about where I was trying to make the connection between the Jeepers Creeper and like animals in the world that have features.
Regenerative powers and not powers, but regenerative capabilities.
Regeneration, the slumber thing, being able to fly, eating people. And I still, again, you'd think that me finding out that axolotls are cannibals, you would think that that would be like the part where I go, maybe I don't love axolotls as much. I love them more. Like
Wait, how
my
do you?
heart continues to grow.
If they weren't such a pain to take care of, I
They're so
wouldn't
fucking
have
cute.
Kevin. I'd have an axolotl.
They're so cute. They're so cute. I mean, it hurt my heart when we did the Leroy Jenkins experiment, in Minecraft, but we had to for science. I had to know. Um, but
Oh,
no, cicadas.
I hate cicadas. They're terrifying.
I honestly didn't even know that they were a real ass thing. I thought it was a trick because I came from Vermont and is always I came from one of the coldest regions of Vermont. NEK
Yeah,
represent.
we have cicadas here in Pennsylvania. On the years that we have a cicada hatch, oh god, it's just so annoying.
I had never
we're constantly
experienced. I had lived in Vermont from when I was born until I was like 23, 24. I don't know how time works, but the whole beautiful thing about living in the NEK is that it's beautiful for a set amount of weeks, and then it's very cold, and all of the bugs die. You never have to deal with them. Like it's great. It's great.
No, don't because this year in the middle of December, right around Christmas time, I woke up to a mosquito on my arm.
That's disrespectful.
I'm like,
And also
winter.
illegal, Kelly.
Them
That's
things are
illegal,
supposed to be
Kelly.
dead.
That's illegal, Kelly. Yes.
I'm like, what the hell?
No. So I had never encountered a cicada at all. I had never heard of I had heard of them, you know, in discussion in like learning situations in school. They obviously came up. Not enough for me to actually like retain information because realistically, when was I ever going to encounter them? So the first year I moved to the South was one of the breeds. It was like their turn, their time to
Oh, one of the
shine.
hatches. Yeah.
Yeah, it was their time to shine. And the week before, the cicadas came out of their exciting shells.
Whoa,
Hey,
cat.
Cap! How are you doing today? Thanks for popping in. Before the cicadas came out of their shell, like the week before, I was living in a duplex, and one of the windows wouldn't shut, like from the top. It
Oh
was
god.
janky. It was super cheap to live there, but there were a lot of like super big red flags. But I was like, rent's cheap. I don't care. I'll live with it. Um, and there was like this hornet situation, and it was just this one hornet. I referred to him as the alpha hornet because he was ginormous, at least in my perspective. And he got
Oh,
in my house and he
the
refused to
South has some
leave.
big ass hornets.
Yeah, so he got in my house and he refused to leave, and I could hear him at all hours of the night clicking, doing a little clicking. And I was like, he's calling his friends. I'm gonna die. They're gonna kill me, which is an irrational fear. But at the time, I was like overwhelmed, and it was a degree of whelmed because Moscow, um, my cat, my sweet baby kitty cat, is a cute little murder hobo, and I did not want her to get stung or hurt by this wasp. And he was calling for backup, and I was like, no, dude, not today. So he finally gets out of my house, and like the very next day, I wake up and there's like this crazy screaming noise. Like it's not screaming, but it was like like just a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yep.
the fuck is that?
Yep.
And I go outside and there's all this shit on the floor out there, like these little things. And I see this. I go in up to one of them, and it's like a little shell. And apparently, cicadas come out of the earth.
Yep. They come out of the
Some of
ground.
them like shed their shells, scream their loudest, they bang, they make a baby,
Yep.
they bury the baby, and then they check
They're
out.
gone. Uh-huh.
But the way cicadas work is that they do all of this, and they go and they eat real fast, so that way they have food, so they can last when they're banging.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bury underground to hibernate for
However, yeah,
decade-ish.
however long it takes for that particular breed of cicada to come out again.
Just got back from taking the horde to see Ant-Man. Figured I'd get some desk time squeezed in. Wait for dinner to show up. Ooh, very nice. Din din. Hornets have a photographic memory for faces also. If they're communal hornets will keep stinging until another makes it stop. So no, fear of hornets is irrational. Thank you. Thank you for validating me. Because all I could hear, like I knew it was in my house. I was not making any aggressive movement towards the hornet, but I was like beside myself. I was like not ugly crying, but I was like ugly like little sobs where I was like, I'm gonna die. And the hornet, like, I remember I called my sister and it was like 1 a.m. because the clicking got so loud because he had posted up above my bed. And I called her and I was like, T, I could hear the clicking. He's calling his friends. They're gonna take me out. She was like, bitch, it is 1 a.m. What are you doing? She's like, go sleep in the living room. I'm like, oh, I guess I could have done that. It's okay. But thank you for
Just sleep
validating
under-
my feelings about hornets.
Bunny,
Yes.
what did I always say? Just sleep under the bed. They can't get you there.
I don't know that.
It's a valid reason.
That is about, listen, for a lot of spooky, scary skeletons, spooky boys, hiding under the bed, sleeping under the bed, valid. I don't know about hornets, though.
How are the creepy things in that world that come out from under the bed supposed to get you?
A
if
lot
you're
of my
already under the
fear,
bed?
again, with the hornets, I know we've sidetracked. A lot of my fear with the hornets thing, though, is again, my cat, Moscow, we love her. She's a beautiful Siamese queen. She is a murder hobo. And she likes to play with things before she kills them. And she's a delicate creature. And I would have hated for her to decide that she was going to have a great time just doing a murder, only for it to turn out. I don't know where.
Horribly wrong. Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't.
Huh.
I'm trying to find, because I know. Oh, it's not on mine. That's why. I was like, because I commissioned Moscow, but like for Zombies channel.
Yep, there's Moscow. Alright, have a good lurk, Jaeger.
Jaeger, thank you so much for popping in. Love you. I hope you sleep like a baby bear tonight. Yeah, so I don't think it's still not working. For some reason, Stream Elements is refusing to respect me, and none of my commands are working.
Yeah. You might have
So
to go and just re-log in and
I'm gonna
reconnect to
have to do
Twitch.
stuff, which is gonna suck. I don't
Yeah.
want to. That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, so
So cicadas, the reason I was thinking about that, even I got sidetracked on hornets, is because they bury underground to hibernate for whatever, and also they eat before they go to take a nap. Or no, they feed their young. They eat a lot so they can make a baby that's full of food, and they bury it or whatever. And I was thinking about the creeper's house, well, not his house, but his little like
his hole in the
hideout,
ground.
his little
Yeah.
hole in the ground, which is just like to get to it, you have to go through a tube that he just kind of like jam pegged in there, and it's lined with the corpses of his prey.
Uh-huh.
And when in the first film, when Derry decides, um, much in horror film fashion, that he has to personally investigate this shit like a dumbass, and he gets in there, he discovers that one of them is still alive briefly until it dies. It being a person that was in a sheet. But yeah, so
Yeah. First of all,
hate it.
yeah, hate it. Hate that whole layer.
The layer scene was troubling for so many reasons. For
Yeah, hate
me, the biggest issue was that I had watched the movie for the first time like immediately after watching House of Wax, which I fucking hate that movie for so many reasons, but I hate it. So like there was one screen image when Derry was panning through, and like the faces reminded me of House of Wax, and I literally had to leave the room for like a minute so I wouldn't vomit.
Right. I just want to say this. If I was going to be horror movie stupid and actually go look at where I know the thing is, right? Or where the thing is storing its food, I'm going to destroy that place. I'm going to, like, blow it up, fill it in, bury it, set it on fire.
Well, at the time, they don't know any of that because, again, this is like what, 20, 30 minutes in the movie, if that? They think that somebody's needing help, and that's why they want to go there, because they don't know if they're dead or not. And his whole reasoning is like, what if that was you that was taken? You would want someone to come for you.
Oh, fucking kill me.
Like,
if something drags me in a hole, Bunny, I give you full authority. Just leave me there and blow it up. Sacrifice me.
Are you telling me to do arson?
Yes.
I'm not saying that is a legally binding agreement that I'm allowed to do arson.
You're allowed to do arson if something drags me into its
hypothetically
lair.
Arson is acceptable under the circumstances as
that
follows.
Thrall's in danger.
That Thrall is in danger.
And the place you are doing the arson in is where Thrall is.
Okay. And arson seems like the justifiable resolution to the situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
we're not discussing, to clarify anyone in chat who may have ideas, I am not premeditating anything. I am getting clarification. To ensure yeah. If you're a cop, no, you didn't hear nothing.
Anyone in chat that was thinking about kidnapping my sweet little butt, Bonnie will burn your house down now.
That's not what. That's not. Listen. We have veered so far. from our original topic. Although, honestly, arguably, this is probably, again, Thrall and Bunny episodes of Spooky Saturday starts out, and we've got, like, usually we cover way more ground than this and never finish any single thought. The fact that we've stayed, for the most part, in the realm of the same concept and idea is remarkable. I'm very proud of us. Good job, us. Pat me on the back.
I'm very proud that when you said the word, that DR word that always sidetracks me in the whole tangent, I didn't go into that whole tangent. You know, the little dragon word.
Yes.
I resisted going there because I was on the Mothman track. Like,
Mothman.
I'm sorry, Jeepers Creeper and Mothman. I'm just saying.
I mean, and now, again, we still have to have the thing about saying that the creature
You
from Jeepers.
still have to have the cake.
We still have to confirm that Jeepers the creature, the creeper, has cake, because we have confirmed that Mothman does have cake. There is a shapely tush. Mothman has that, so we need to see. To quote a funny, the butts have to match. You know, if the butts don't match, it's not the same. Yeah. I still, again, for me, I like the idea of the Mothman connection. I do. I really, immediately as I was going through the physical descriptions of the creeper, like as they listed him, as they had his description listed in the screenplay, my mind immediately went to the Strigoi, and the more I looked into it, the more it made sense. Now, some of it doesn't fit. Like the 23-year hiatus because it's taken a nippy nap. Okay. Being in Florida. So, okay. I get you.
Okay. So, the Strigoi, right? They're loosely based off of.
Well, they're the precursor to what eventually becomes a melding of 3 or 4 different precursor cryptids or folklore pieces from a few different cultures in that area that end up becoming what eventually evolves into vampire lore.
Okay.
So it's like, you have to go back. You have to go back a few bits and kind of separate. But yeah.
So all right. I'm just trying to formulate my thoughts here.
Hey, that's what we're doing. We're doing it live. Absolutely. Big teeth.
Could there be a possible situation? I'm not going to say they're advanced or have a hierarchy, the Strigoi or whatever. Could there be a possible situation where they have kind of like bees, gatherers, and that bring things back to where
so like a hive mentality?
Yeah, like a hive mentality.
So I think I want to say you could make the argument. Again, this is a thought. This is like a thought experiment. If you're like doing, we're doing like a think tank thing here. So if we suspend our disbelief and we say Strigoi 100% real, confirmed. If we put ourselves in that mindset, and then we are trying to figure out, okay, is it a potential possibility that the Strigoi would have a hive mentality where there are different classifications for different jobs that they would each have to benefit the whole hive and the center of that.
When you have a hive mentality, you could have those psychic links or them psychic bonds.
You can, yes. I mean, what you could eventually equate to psychic bonds, because bees aren't psychic.
No.
Maybe they are, actually. We don't know. I mean, I've never talked to a bee, so I have no idea. But like,
they sense different vibrations,
and they pick up on pheromones. I see what you're doing. I see what you did there, because the creeper specifically has that third nostril on the bridge, so he can sniff out fear pheromones, so he knows who's a tasty treat and who is not. So I can't speak on the Strigoi specifically, because again, I would have to do further research into that. I went solely on like, oh, this is what I happen to know off the top of my head. Let me double
Well,
check
see,
if like the
because
characteristics confirm.
I was going with
But
a more
vampires, I could agree to
well,
to a certain standard that a lot of the mythos that lead into what people revert to as vampires, they do have a similar hierarchy like that. With
yeah,
the whole
and
idea
what
of
I'm
being
saying
sired,
is
where it's just
like
like if you kill the one at top, everything that came from that line is gone.
yeah. So what I'm saying is like the Strigoi is the precursor to the vampire, whereas say if you believe in evolutionaryism or whatever it is,
In regards to cryptids,
the
yeah.
yeah
Okay.
the or even in regards to man, the Neanderthal was the precursor to modern day man. So why can't cryptids have the same evolutionary track?
No, I see. Okay, I see the groundwork you're laying. Okay. So I think, and this is again personal opinion here, that would make sense. That would make logical sense. Um, I don't know enough about, again, if someone out there
Yeah,
wants
this
to
is
make a
all theory,
fucking,
chat.
if someone wants to make me like a phylum classification chart for like cryptids in general, I I will pay you real people money.
like
I'll tell you a
like
secret. I'll be your best friend. I am a slut for graphs and charts. Please fucking do it. I need to see this.
we are by no means professionals. It's just
No, I just like to
sitting
talk
here
shit.
doing this
Yeah.
and bouncing all these ideas around from Mothman to the it just like if we're going to the insect route, right?
Yeah, if we're making the connection between the cicadas for
where
the
they're where they're bringing elements of nature beings in. Okay, so certain animals such as ants, bees, stuff like that have their hunter gatherers that
mhm.
bring things back to the colony where they have their breeders and the
The
rest of their
implication, the only thing that scares me now, the only thing that makes me uncomfortable with that is that in Jeepers Creepers, in that specific lore of that franchise, we only see the one, right?
yes, but I'm going back to his hole.
Yeah,
Why
his
would he
whole.
need that much food just for him?
Maybe he's just a
I'm
rough and
just
tumble boy, and he knows he's gonna need extra bits and pieces because he's clumsy. I
I'm
get that.
just
I mean, I hit my funny bone in the shower earlier, and it was not funny. I will tell you that right now. It was not funny. I was not laughing.
I
It
mean,
was
I
like
don't mean to take anything away from oh, there's this one big being, but like, why is there only that one? Is he the last of his kind, or is he just
that is
something that
actually
goes
a
out?
really interesting because again, in the mythos of Jeepers Creepers, the psychics who tell the story of like this is what he is, this is what he does. Every 23 years, he whacks it for 23 days and eats everybody. Like they all describe him, or that the ones that are talking about him and where he comes from. Again, I don't have access to the other two movies because I didn't know they existed and honestly didn't really care about that.
I
And I haven't,
literally just finished a bottle of water, mom.
Mom, I literally just took a drink, so it's fine. Shh, don't worry about it. I did, here, I'll do it again. I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Here, I got my cup. Here, my cup. Here's my cup.
Did it. Okay. So,
Ugh.
the fuck was I talking about? Oh god.
Um, Jeepers Creepers,
Okay.
yeah, the psychology, the
Okay. So,
psychic people.
the psychics, they're like telling the story, or like even like the visions of the prey of the past, if you will. Like retelling the story. They describe Creeper as immeasurably old. So maybe he is the last of his kind. But we just don't have enough information. We don't have enough frame of reference to say outright in watching that 100 like 120-minute. film to be like, yeah, like he's just, he used to be big and bad back in the day, 4000 BCE, but now he's just slumming it in Florida. Like, we don't know, you know? I don't know, and
Oh,
I know that there's a comic series out there. I've not looked into it. I
I
know it
have not looked.
exists though.
I know it exists. I haven't looked into it either.
Love you.
But
Mwah.
I love your mom. I'm just saying, like, how can there only be one? Like in the movie, yes. In the movies, Jeepers Creepers, yes.
Of
There's
course, because
only,
you want to do this, you want to suspend your disbelief and say, okay, this one thing. Because could you imagine if there were like 15 of these things and they
but
were all running on the same
if
time? Even if they
if
weren't running on, in order for the timeline difference to make it plausible that nobody knew that it was a thing, they would all have to pop up at the same time and wipe out anyone who would potentially record that information to keep them safe for the next 23 years.
but what I'm saying is, if Jeepers Creepers does have your verification of cake,
Okay,
if we look at these different sightings from around the globe,
that are attributed
they're
to Mothman
they're
or
they're
subspecies of the Mothman
yeah,
family.
they're staggered years. They're not all in the same year.
So you're
So what if
thinking
we're
that Mothman's just like going around the world, la 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 la?
no, he's not going around. Maybe they're different. Okay, hear me out here. Okay,
I'm
so
hearing.
this particular culture does their feeding in, say, 2000, right?
Okay,
And they're done. They're done for their 23 years
okay.
or whatever their time period. But yet down in Chile, their particular
Is a few
region
is
of
a few years
Mothman
offset from
is a
the.
few years offset.
Okay.
And that's why we're getting the different sightings at different time frames around the world, because they can't all be on the same clock and live in different parts of the world. Because think about it, our summertime is, Europe's wintertime, or not Europe, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
You know,
Europeans enjoy your summer right now. And if you have snow, you send it to me. Don't send it to combat. I
well,
don't care
not
what he
not
fucking tells
Europeans,
you.
like
I don't care what he fucking
like
tells you.
we're in the northern hemisphere,
Yeah.
so
So
our
like
winter
in
time is the
Australia, you're
southern.
talking about in Australia, like
Yeah,
the southern hemisphere.
Australia.
Okay.
Yeah,
I immediately
is
went to
their.
Australia because I love them.
So I love Australia too. I mean, fucking bloody dingoes, mate.
No,
Anyway,
who was somebody was telling me, I can't remember who it was. It's gone now. His lady is from Australia and she's beautiful. I love her. Okay. Sorry, we got
so
distracted.
yeah,
Yes.
so you see what I'm saying?
So
Like
yeah, with
different
like the different because of
different
in order
locations
to
around the world,
okay,
their sightings are
are
different.
going to be different. And
Are
because of
going to
their
be different.
cultural frame of reference, they may
Yeah.
even be described slightly different.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Um I see and I recognize that and I counter this. I'm going to counter this real quick.
Okay. Okay.
So there are how many different types of butterflies out there? A lot.
Thousands,
Lots.
millions. Yeah.
Lots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they have like similar life cycles. They, turn into electric jelly inside of a chrysalis and they come out and they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, living their best lives, flip flapping about. But some of them eat flesh,
Some of them do, yes, and
right?
some of them don't.
And
Yeah.
some of them don't. So is it potentially possible that rather than being offset, solely being offset by those time frames, that these different creatures who cryptozoologists are saying are Mothman-esque, which is something that we could also infer is the same as the creeper from Jeepers Creepers, could they be different enough, offset enough from the original, like the OG, I'm going to say butterfly in this situation, the Mothman, offset just enough that their dietary restrictions and their things are going to be different, like that Jeepers Creepers boy needs to eat belly buttons. Whereas maybe Mothman just thrives on that energy created by the rift of that event. Whereas the Wisconsin man bat just thrives on making homies sick on the side of the road for 3 weeks. You know?
Very plausible. Yeah, I will agree on that.
I mean,
Because if you
these
look
are
at,
cryptids. These are cryptids we're talking about.
I
We're also
mean,
talking about a movie. Like all of this is like complete conjecture. But
because if you look at people, for
yeah,
example, um,
people.
there are some places people only eat meat. There are some places people only eat vegetables. Some places people eat both. I mean,
What was that one meme I saw? It's like a vegetarian and a pescatarian, and it's like the fish are in it. No, the land animals are innocent, but the fish have sinned. We are okay to eat them. I don't know why. I just thought of that.
oh,
That's-
I'm not denying anybody's choices. If you
no,
want to
no, yeah, no,
be
for sure.
vegan or whatever, or
I
that's
know
your business.
I can't.
I'm just saying
In
from
theory, yeah.
a strictly
From a dietary perspective of
dietary
creatures,
perspective,
yeah,
people
the
eat
fish know
different
what they
things.
did.
People, I mean, even look at, the mammals on the earth. Certain animal, like lions, eat meat, but zebras eat grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not, exactly the
And
same
axolotls
species.
eat whatever the fuck they want, including other axolotls, and I love them and they're so cute. They're
Yeah.
cute little
Or
cannibals.
we could take it down the aspect of earthworms or worms.
Yes.
You have bloodworms, which eat other worms,
Worms.
but then you have other worms that eat or process the
Yeah.
nutrients in the dirt.
No, so I mean, yeah, it would
So
make
yeah,
sense if
what
they
you're
live in
saying,
different areas and they have different like if there are enough variances in them physically to make a difference and they're offset so much, it would also stand to reason that they would have different dietary needs.
yes. So I'm saying what you're saying is it's very plausible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, it'd be
And
cool if they were
hi zombie,
Shipoi.
how are you?
It'd be cool.
Uh,
This was a fun one. This was a fun one. And it all started because of a meme.
because of a meme.
Because of a meme you posted in Jaeger's fucking Discord. And he was like, that's creepy as fuck. And I was like, yeah, it's unsettling.
Yeah, we're gonna do Spooky Saturdays on that.
Yeah, like
But
absolutely. You said creepy. That was the magic word, baby. Ah. But yeah, I don't really
so
have anything else on this.
I mean, we did the topic for almost a solid 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we covered it. I think we nailed it.
We have given the audience something to think about with Jeepers Creepers, and again, the Mothman situation.
And I do strongly advise, if you haven't checked it out, I'm gonna shamelessly plug Happily Morose. I know that they're working on additional content coming up because they've been working on other projects, but they do have a video on the Mothman, so you should check them out.
So, yeah, and
I think that was my last thoughts on this. If you wanted to kind of transition back to stuff you're doing coming up, unless there's something else that you have to tell me about this creepy Jeeper.
there's nothing else about the creepy Jeeper. I'm just reverting back to my original diversion when we brought this up, instead of the cryptid aspect. I just want to say, these writers and things that take inspiration from serial killers, what's wrong with them?
Bro, I am a writer and I'm actively writing a novel about a serial killer. You literally came here to drag me. Like, what the fuck, bro? I love you.
No, it's like I could personally create some weird off the wall cryptid creature in my own brain. That's just how my brain works.
Right.
As an active TTRPG player,
right,
and with our text thing going on in Ty's Discord.
I don't know if I actually sent the response. I know I typed it out on my tablet. So if it's
Yes, you
not
sent it.
there, okay.
I haven't replied because I was playing Minecraft.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Sus. Knew you were playing Minecraft. It's okay. I
so
forgive you.
um so yeah, like I get you need to draw inspiration from things,
People are
but
people
like
are here's the thing.
why
People people are multifaceted. Everyone experiences their life completely different and subjective as well as objectively separate from other people as well as intertwined. So, my experience, you and I can be in the same room that some stuff went down, and our interpretation of what happened could be completely different. I'm gonna use an example of this. So, I at one point many years ago, I wanted to when I was like looking into careers I wanted to pursue, I wanted to be a forensic criminalist. So that's the person who would go in and do like the crime scene photos and like catalog evidence and work to process
okay,
that.
so uh Gil Grissom, gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Took me a minute. I was like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, CSI.
Um,
Yeah, I got you.
yes. So like I was actively pursuing that as like an idea at one point of like what I wanted to do. And because at the end of the day, to some degree I've always kind of wanted to like solve mysteries and shit. Like it's always been like a part of me. Like I like solving like thinking through some shit, figuring it out. Um and there was a I was doing a seminar. It was a part of a writers conference. Not a, was it a writers conference? I don't know. I did a lot of conferences that year, so it could have been any of them. It was one of those things where like we stayed for like a week at
Hang
one
on, I
place.
got a phone call.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I can't mute me.
Do 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 do. I'm just gonna he'll catch up. I'll catch him up when he gets back. But basically, it was one of those like it wasn't like a camp, but like you had to like apply to this program and you had to submit work to be approved to go and then you had to like get a scholarship into it and it was like a week long thing where you and a bunch of other people in your age group were sent off to a place to learn skills. And I can't remember which one this was through, but I went and I was at a college and we went over a bunch of different things. And one of the courses that I signed, like the little like intro courses I signed up for, was having to do with that field.
Okay, I have returned.
Okay, so I explained how you got to do the thing. So one of the courses I had signed up for at this like little seminar week thing was having to do with like criminology and like the idea of helping with criminal investigations and stuff. And it was like the first day. We're all in this little like room. We're in a classroom. There's a couple of dudes who are up at the top of the room. They're talking to us about different methods of how you would go about your day if you worked for this crime lab, if you worked for this police department, how they would go about all of that. I mean, it was very tertiary basic intro stuff. And I'll tell you what happened from my perspective. From my perspective, from behind me, I heard a door kick open. I heard a woman just stomping through, and she yells, "You son of a bitch, I can't believe you did this." And I look up because she's literally maybe a foot and a half away from me. And she pulls a firearm and she shoots the guy point blank 3 times in the chest. And then she leaves. Like she runs out. Um, so we're all just kind of standing there. And we're like, what? Because it was like it all happened very fast. And I was just like, he didn't really bleed it. There's not a lot of blood. I'm pretty sure he's fine. Like that was my brain processing. It was like, I'm sure he's fine. He'll walk it off, which is not healthy. fully aware that's not healthy. Like, and I think part of my like subconscious brain clocked that this was a fake situation because it was a fake situation. The chick who came in was a part of the group running that particular class. They were blanks. He had a vest on underneath his stuff. So even when the blank hit, it didn't like really fuck him up. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't even going to bruise him at the end after all of it.
All some blank shells are there's either a plastic or a very soft bead in there with a low dosage round,
It's
like powder.
it was it was wild though. So she came in. She didn't come in yet, but the guy stood up and he goes, "Cool. I need you all to write down exactly what you saw. Describe the person who came in here. Describe the situation. I need you to write down your statement." And there was like 20 of us in the room, so we all write down our statements, right? Our personal statements. It wasn't like we took someone else's. We wrote down our statement, and then he put them in a pile and he handed them out randomly. And he'd ask us questions like, well, what was she wearing? What'd she say? Where did she stand? And the interesting thing is that nobody's paper matched another person. And
Yeah.
only like maybe a tenth of our papers had close to what she was wearing. Like, it didn't, like, some of them had like one piece correct, but like nobody had 100% of it correct. So I say this as this complete thing to back up the idea that even if I am the most depraved motherfucker writing a book about some really scary, like serial killery type stuff, I'm trying to find out some stuff. I have to still go from outside of my own wheelhouse to gather objective information to base it on that in order for it to be a true telling, for it to not seem forced. Because a lot of these books where you see, like, I will use Stephen King as an example because we brought him up several times today. His work is so much different than other writers. The tone of it and the content is such a different flavor because he bases stuff on this one thing. You have to do that. You can't just live in your one wheelhouse forever. Ask Ty if she knows how to repair a carpet. She did research for that for like one throwaway line because that's literally what happens when you go to write a book. It's like you have to like you'll start to do something and then you're like, hold on, I actually have to know everything. I have to suddenly become an expert in this one thing so that way I know that I'm doing this one scene like justice when I'm describing this. I don't know if that answered what you were saying. I just rambled for like 10 minutes and nobody stopped me. So
Oh, I'm listening. It does make sense. Like, you do have to take some reference points, but I guess my brain just works in a way where
you're like, that's super fucked up.
I
Why would you do that?
well, no, it's I really don't have to. Like, my brain works. I've told you my dreams.
Right,
I
no, I
I
just like
create non-existent
out of context,
people.
you're like, I don't need to like I don't need to base this on real murders. I have my own brain. Like, god damn. Okay.
Like, like my brain works in such a way and can imagine things and create things in such a way that most people, when they have a dream, they can't make out facial features. I can tell people, oh, he had a yellow spot on his third tooth
You know,
in the front of his mouth.
you're delving and I think I would love to talk with you about this after the show because I have dream knowledge for you.
and,
About dreams and like the psychology of dreams.
and sometimes I have, like, when I'm doing my TTRPGs or my D&D stuff, it doesn't come out the way that it's in my brain. I have a hard time describing it, but in my brain, it's like this whole big immaculate thing.
Yeah.
But like when I go to put it down, it just doesn't translate well, I guess. And I can see where people may need help doing the research to translate
To translate it, yeah.
the point that they're trying to get across. But yeah, okay. I get it. Okay, I get it now, and now I get it.
Everybody learned something today.
It just I never actually sat and did the thought
And you
process.
never like had actually walked your brain through like, okay, well maybe that's how they got there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and which I just did live on chat or Twitch.
I still am very happy to learn that axolotls are cannibals.
All
And that's gonna
right,
be my takeaway
so
for today. We talked about a lot of stuff, but that's my main takeaway.
so that's
Actually, so yeah, if that's all we've got for Jeepers Creepers, I do want to segue into the cool part of the stream where we talk about you again,
okay.
but in better detail.
Better detail.
Yeah,
All right, so
coming
as we
back
said,
February 26th is
February
live Thrall.
26th is Thrall on Twitch. I will do probably a 20 to 25 minute just chatting before we get into games.
Yeah,
Um,
because everybody missed
just
you. Not everybody
just
has bunny privileges where I get to see you every day.
just to discuss basically my future streaming schedule and stuff like that. I am going to try to branch out into a different game. I know everybody loves the Remy's. Everybody loves the Remy's.
It's
But
the rimsiest.
I am not gonna lie. I've been struggling to play the Ramses.
That's fine.
Um,
Change is good sometimes, though. Like,
I've restarted it several times. I know I just bought the expansions, which I've been looking to do and all that stuff, but I just been struggling with it. Um, I'm getting frustrated with the strategy colony survival part of things. So like that type of game, I'm struggling with playing that type of game. The micromanagey stuff like that. So that in mind, I actually have a sticky note on my wall.
that's how you know it's serious. There's a sticky note.
There's a sticky note on my wall that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games on it, and a bracket type setting. And the first couple of weeks of my stream, either on stream or if you're in my Discord, I will be putting up a poll or a voting system, this game. And
Oh,
then,
so you're gonna do like a championship bracket.
yeah, like a championship bracket.
I fucking love that.
So, and then whichever game comes out on top of them 8 games, I will purchase that game and I will try my hardest to complete that game on stream. Because I have this horrible thing where I don't complete games.
Are you you really just came over here to call me out on every aspect, dude. Because I don't ever finish games.
I have finished about one or two games in the entire time I've been playing video games. So
I actually have on my About Me page, I have a thing, games I stream. If you click the thing, I need to update it, but I have a spreadsheet that shows you where I've completed games and where I haven't. And it's upsetting because I haven't completed all games. I haven't done it. And I've left a lot of playthroughs like that I actually was enjoying because I got distracted. So I feel you. I feel you there wholeheartedly. It's hard sometimes to keep the scene going.
That being said, I have a couple of games, like a list of 8 games right here.
Mm-hmm.
One Piece, the new One Piece Odyssey game. Grounded, which is kind of like a survival game, but you're miniaturized.
Yeah, Top Cat was playing that a while back.
Yeah. High on Life.
Oof.
Yeah. I want to play it, but I'm not sure if I can get
I don't know if you...
past the voice of the gun.
That's fair. Maybe you can just mute it. Just use subtitles.
Spider-Man Remastered, because I've never played a Spider-Man game, ever.
Okay.
Dwarf Fortress, which is kind of like a survival-y type game, but, you know,
Yeah.
maybe if my chat or my community enjoys that, I'd be willing to try it.
Yeah.
Deep Rock Galactic, which is mining, Space Dwarfs mining, basically. God of War, which I know a lot of people.
I actually recently, when I say recently, I mean in the last like 6 months, was introduced to the, because I had heard about the game, but I had never seen any gameplay until like recently. I'm using in quotations because I don't understand really the concept of recent. And actually it looks really cool, and I had somebody explain the whole like idea to me, and I think it's really neat. You should.
Yeah. Or Power Wash Simulator.
I started a playthrough on Career for Power Wash, and of course I made it into a fucking murder mystery.
I am open to suggestions or replacements for any of these games on the bracket, but as of right now, that is my bracket.
Okay. I'm excited for that. I'm excited.
So we'll be doing Twitch polls.
And you're doing Sunday streams.
I will be doing a Sunday stream because that is a guaranteed day off for me.
Okay. Cool.
As of right now.
Sunday fun day with Thrall.
I do get one day off during the week, but I reserve that day off during the week for doctor's appointments.
Yes. Which is reasonable. That's fair and reasonable.
That being said, I mentioned something to Bunny earlier, and it's posted in her Discord. Something that's personally affected me. Cancer research. In September, my birthday's in September. For my birthday stream this year, I would like to do a charity stream to help with cancer research.
To raise funds for that. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely down to help. And I'm down to help organize as well. Like
yeah. So I'm going to be looking for organizers, which Bunny says she's more than welcome. Happy to do. I want to do it via Tiltify, therefore I touch none of the money, and you guys know that. I don't want to.
Also, Tiltify's assets are nice. Like, it's so easy.
So I will do none of that. I'm also looking for, if anybody's streaming or into streaming or anything like that, people that would be willing to stream with the charity link for at least, I want to run it, it doesn't have to be like 24 hour, for just charity streams for cancer research for at least a week long with that link.
Absolutely. So what I'll do,
so it's not like, oh, we're trying to pack all this charity fundraising into 2, 3, 4 days. No, I want it stretched out. That way nobody feels pressured to stream for 8, 10, 12 hours. It's like, do your normal stream, have the link. That's all it doesn't.
you know what, honestly, Thrall, I appreciate you. Because usually with these charity events, I go, except with the exception of Jingle Jam, I usually go like whole hog, and I'm like, I'm gonna take up 8 to 12 hours right here, and then I like hate myself for it.
Now, I'm not asking to like have a whole sign up list of, hey.
No, you're wanting Okay, I can definitely help with that,
I
and I'm
just want
happy to
like
let everybody know as well and plug it where I
I
can.
do have, this will be a conversation for people help organize. I do have a list of people that I want to reach out to.
Yeah,
Um,
I got you. Yeah,
so
we'll
that
do after we get off here. I could definitely go over that with you after like you've had a snack and a stretch and a
um
piss.
yeah. That being said, for I have on the charity stream, I also have a list of games that I will probably play.
Okay.
It won't be the new series because the charity will be something.
You want to have it separated, differentiated.
Yeah, so that would be like Terraria.
I hate Terraria. I've tried so many different times to like it.
Me,
I really
yeah.
have, but I'm just not
Um,
good at it, and it makes me mad.
maybe some community Minecraft or something like
I get
that.
down on that. Absolutely.
I might do a Rimmies because everybody loves it when I do the Rimmies.
It's the
Um,
rimsiest. Yes.
um, maybe a co-op game with a fellow streamer, something like that.
I happen to know. I happen to know of Bear Detective.
Yeah.
But we also, yeah, for sure.
So,
This is all
or
very plausible,
or
wonderful things, and I'm sure everybody
or
wants to help.
this is the big one:
Okay.
an interactive text RPG live on Twitch, off the cuff. I will DM it. Chat will react.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like what we're doing in Discord,
In
but
in
in real time.
in the parlor, yeah. Okay.
It'll be a whole thing of the mind,
Theater of the mind. Yep. Okay.
theater of the mind thing. We will have maybe some fantasy themed pictures in the background or something, or maybe we'll throw up Kevin Cam.
Or fast live drawing.
Yeah, or if somebody's good at fast live drawing, I am not.
I can do stick figures. I can accomplish stick figures for you. Because I
So,
have mad stick figure skills that I'm willing to donate on behalf of you.
But that will be for the charity. That's just a charity one-time thing.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
will
I
go
honestly,
as long as it goes or whatever. So,
yeah, for sure.
I would also like to do like maybe once every 2 weeks a just chatty.
Like a chat and check in.
Yeah, just a chat and check in. If people want to hop in the Discord, obviously it'll be a closed channel, so somebody can't just pop in and be like,
Bad
"Oh,
words.
titties."
Yeah, you have to be approved to say titties in the Discord, which I am because I'm a mod. Thank you. Sorry.
Or like, if you want to be in voice chat and on the stream or something like that.
Yeah, no, of course.
Just like a
So
weekly,
bi-weekly. You
just
said weekly, bi-weekly. One of those.
weekly, yeah, like a bi-weekly. That
Okay.
might even be a like, I don't know, Tuesday, Thursday
I honestly think having taken the time off that you did and then setting these, I think these are very realistic things that are kind to you, as well as getting you back out to be with people more and to like get out there. I'm very pumped. I'm also really excited to see you branch out. I do still love when you play Rage Blazer or Cave Blazers, what it's called. I call it Rage Blazers. And your RimWorld and your Minecraft streams. I love those, but I am also very excited and intrigued to see how these other gameplays are going to work. I'm very pumped for it. So just to make sure I understand, February 26th is your debut back into streaming from your break, and you're looking at every Sunday doing a stream. You're going to be doing a bracket to branch out to different games, like a vote game in your Discord. And in September,
either in Discord or on Twitch. I'll probably do a poll on Twitch.
On Twitch to then be posted.
So
okay, I see. Yeah. I've been picking up what you're laying down. And then you're thinking every other week doing like a chat and check in with
Yeah,
everybody, and then like a
yeah,
community thing. Maybe you play a game, maybe you're just chilling out. Um,
yeah,
and then in September, keep an eye out because there's going to be a charity event, is
yes,
what I'm hearing.
yes.
Excellent. I'm pumped for
So,
that. If you guys aren't already following Thrall, first off, what are you even doing with your life? Look at your life, look at your choices. Do it. It's a great idea for you. Absolutely. You don't want to miss anything. You don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss anything. That's why I'm in there.
yeah.
Awesome. I'm so
So,
excited.
like, I know I haven't been very consistent, but I've also
You've
been
had
going
shit going
through
on, dude.
a lot,
Life
which
is life is wild.
I haven't released out to the communities and whatnot. Most
Yeah.
people know, but you know, I didn't make an official announcement. Hey, I'm stepping back due to whatever.
XYZ.
But
Yeah.
I just kind of fell off the map. So,
I'm not gonna say you
um,
ghosted everyone because I was never ghosted
um,
because you know better.
yeah. And I'm gonna be honest, I am horrible about posting on Twitter. I'm horrible about it.
I hear you.
Um,
I forgot I had a Twitter account for like 10 years. I was like, oh shit, I have one of these. And then I only use it to tell people to go to Spooky Saturdays or when I'm saying um a hot take
zombie.
about soup or if I am
When you told
saying nice
people to
things to
follow
people.
me, zombie said do it or Mothman will be sad.
Mothman will be sad. You have to. He
He puts
can't be held
creepers come after
responsible.
you.
He can't be held responsible for what his cousins are gonna do. That was the moral of today's story. Oh shit. Well,
um,
this was really fun. Again, I can't thank you enough for making you literally scheduled. You made sure that you were going to be available because Saturdays you normally are not available.
yeah, I am normally working on Saturdays, and then a phone call with my grandparents asking me if I was coming over for dinner.
So I should
Which
release you soon then because you should probably do
I'm
that.
not. I'm not going. I have a head cold on top
That's
of
fair.
everything
No,
else,
yeah, we did talk
and
about that. Yeah.
I am not going to
You're being
expose
responsible. I guess I understand.
my grandparents to that.
Yeah. You're a sweetheart. They never change.
What? Okay, so we got my layout of what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
What is Bunny going to be doing?
I'm still just here I did a thing where I'm trying to use the scheduler on Twitch. So Spooky Saturday dates for the end of what I refer to as season 3 is on my schedule. I am striving for Wednesday as the other day for whatever. Right now I'm trying to finish one game. If I can finish this one game,
Oh, that game's been giving you hell.
First off, here's the thing. I work Wednesday. So when I get
Yeah, I
off
know.
work and I might play some of it tomorrow. But when I get off work and I'm trying to brain and I'm reading the text and the text is so small and I'm like, yeah, I'm an idiot. This is not working out for me. Because I'm supposed to be an AI. I feel like I'm making progress, but I'm just having a hard time. Maybe if I didn't play games for the very first time live without reading any tutorials, maybe I would do better, but I don't care. Like, that's not my vibe. I am here to be bad at games. So, but yeah, no, I'm just here to vibe and chill and to hype everybody. That's my jam.
I will say I will be more active in asking my moderation team for help.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I was doing stuff.
I have come to realize that as a small part-time streamer that also now has a full-time job,
Real people job.
I cannot manage trying to run my Discord, my Twitch channel, and my daily life.
And that's perfectly that's perfectly okay. And I'm here to help in whatever capacity I can. I know the rest of your mod team is also very excited to help in whatever way they can. We're all in this together, man. As long as we're having fun, it's all Gucci.
So, yeah.
That's all I got, unless you got anything else you wanted to say to the people before we try to raid out.
I want to give a shout out to Jaeger Hammerhand.
Yes! Please drop his link because the shout out command is not fucking working.
Jaeger is
I love
Jaeger's
Jaeger.
awesome.
I love Jaeger.
Yeah. Let me
I'm actually pulling it up now because I have to.
So
I have control issues.
That being said, Jaeger does Remy's every Wednesday morning. He is on UK time.
Yeah.
So, if you are sad that you're going to be missing Thrall, Remy's, Jaeger's much better at it than I am.
Oh, you just, I guess, beat me to it.
Who? Not me.
Zombie.
Oh.
That's fine. I guess I could let my mod do something.
Yeah. So yeah, Jaeger was also in chat. He gave us
and he totally gave us the missing links, if you will, to making a theory plausible.
He also plays games like Cyberpunk, Slime Rancher, and
yeah, Jaeger's a good bean. Good bean.
Yeah, and I have noticed that. Why no shout-outs needed? I am still lurking about. Yes, you are still lurking about.
Absolutely, we love you. We want everyone to know that you're beautiful.
You
cutie.
We are giving you shout-outs.
We love you, bitch. I'm aggressive.
So,
what is it? Aggressively extroverted? I'm still mad about that. How could you call me that?
So yeah, Jaeger, he's awesome.
Good bean, do it. Get in there.
And he will be one of the people I would like to reach out to for the charity stream.
Yeah, no, for sure. We can absolutely. I do want to touch base with you on that, so we can work on that.
So yeah.
No pressure. He's not calling you out on chat to pressure you.
No pressure. we will discuss this elsewhere. You don't have to respond right now. Besides, it is several months away. So that being said, I can see.
I'm taking a look to see who's on right now.
It has to be Golden Girl J. It has to be.
Is Golden Girl J on right now?
Yes, they are.
Okay, let me do a math.
They are playing Played Up. Oh, panic! Don't panic, Jaeger. It's fine. It's just I would like to do a charity stream in September for my birthday. And I would like you to be part of the event. That's all. And it's not necessarily like, oh, everybody has to be all streaming at the same time. No, it's not going to be that. We will.
No, he just told me I can't do the thing I usually do, which is fine because he usually gets to watch the aftermath of me being like mad. That's fair. Well, so, I had a really fun time with this. Too late I started
fires.
Arson, not even once.
Oh god.
Well, I really appreciate you again making the time to hang out, to talk shit. I am very proud of us for actually staying on topic for as long as we did. I'm very happy for everybody in chat who hung out, who dealt with fucking stream elements not respecting my commands because I wanted to yeet my damn computer. But I am. Percival he's dummy thick. It's not his fault. That's the name of my computer. I named my computer Percival. But yeah, I had a really fun time. I'm gonna try. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. I don't know. But next week we're doing some Spooky Saturday. I believe Ty's on deck for that. And the following, let me look at a calendar. So next Saturday, I'm doing Spooky Saturday, and then Sunday, that's coming up, not this one tomorrow, but the one after that, you're coming back on. Hot and heavy on Twitch. Very exciting. Yeah, I'm aggressive. I can't help it.
The 26th.
The 26th.
Yes.
So yeah, just go and be on there, guys. we're gonna raid out to Golden Girl J. Playing some Plate Up. And I hope you guys had a fun time. I know I did. And I hope you have a spooky rest of your Saturday.
Bye, chat. Mwah.
Bye, Internet. I'll see you later. Show Golden Girl J your love.
Yay.